We make millions of dollars wholesaling land.
I was 19, he was 21 years old. We made $140,000 in profit off a deal. It sounds stupid, but it happened. Like, it's crazy. They're making an $85,000 profit. We make our $10,000 fee. Everybody wins.
Right now, you're on one or two paths wholesaling vacant land.
The first path is that you're just gonna sit on YouTube, you're gonna watch different videos, go through a bunch of different gurus, never really start anything, and you're just gonna sit here on YouTube, maybe take some notes, but never actually take action.
Or you can take the other path, is in 3 hours right now, we are gonna break down A to Z exactly how you can do your first deal wholesaling land or scale your business to doing multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, just simply flipping land to home builders. We're gonna break down everything in this video, so stay with us till the end and you're gonna learn a lot of information and this could change your life.
My name's Zach Ginn. I've been wholesaling real estate for over 10 years and I'm making over $200,000 a month just wholesaling land around the country. And I'm here to teach you exactly my path on how to do it.
Yeah, and then my name's Jackson, this is Carson Wiener. We've been wholesaling land specifically now for the past 4.5 years. We've done over 800 land transactions, just over $6.5 million in assignments. And keep in mind, we are not actually buying these properties ourselves, right? So when we got started, this was the first business we got into. And we actually do things a little bit differently, which we're gonna get into more, but we actually go and we find the builder first, right? So rather than just lowballing a bunch of sellers and then selling it after the fact, we find what the builder's looking for, go shopping for them, and then we're able to make the difference in between.
And also, guys, it's not just us that's doing it. We've taught hundreds, if not probably thousands of people, just like you watching this video, to close their first land deal. And we even have people doing, like I said, over 6 figures profit per month. So you can do the same thing doing this business. Just pay attention throughout this video, and you'll learn exactly how.
Just to make it very clear, we make millions of dollars wholesaling land, but right here, these are all the testimonials of people in my community and his community who are making a ton of money wholesaling land.
And it's not just these people, right? We actually are having our mastermind here where our students, we have 9 people presenting out of 30 that are coming. 2 of them have crossed $1 million in assignments in the past 6 months, and then there's 7 of them that have crossed $250,000 in assignments, right? So this is for people that, even if you have a 9-to-5 and a family and you only have a couple hours to work, you can do 1 or 2 deals a month and make $10,000, $15,000. Or you can sit there at your computer 16 hours a day and you can take it to the level that students like Nick have, where they're doing over $300,000 profit in a single month, right? So this is something that you can either do on the side, you can take this very seriously, make this a true big cash flow business, as we're gonna show you how to do today. But there's gonna be 5, 6, 7 different steps that you guys are gonna need to learn before you get started. So that's what this video is gonna go through today.
Okay, so if I'm used to wholesaling houses, if I'm brand new and I want to start wholesaling land, what's the difference?
Yeah, so the biggest difference in the way we do things is we go builder first, right? So we do it reverse, right? So if I'm gonna go houses, is you're gonna have a house seller, then you're gonna get the contract signed, right? And contract, then you're gonna get, so let's say 200K to the seller, you're gonna find a flipper for 210K, right? That's gonna be your buyer. You get a contract with them. Without buying the property yourself, you make 10 grand, right? That's gonna be house wholesaling, right? So what we're doing is when we find our market, before we send our campaigns, we get our builder first. So let's say they'll say, I'll pay $50,000 for anything. Then now that we know we have our builder, we're gonna go and we're gonna just mass text, mass mail, we're gonna have cold callers. We're just gonna offer everybody $40,000, right? So when we find a seller at $40,000, we then get the contract signed with them at 40. We sell it to the builder that we already have at 50, and then we still make that $10,000, right? So it's different because we can now mass send offers with this, because with the lots and with the markets we're gonna get into, all of these parcels are exactly the same, right? I don't wanna do a market where there's a 1-acre property, then the next door neighbor's a 4-acre property, right? I want all 1/4-acre lots. I want all 1/2-acre lots, because if they're all worth the same, I can send 2,000 identical offers at the same time, right? So if I have my builder locked in at 50, you can go ahead and you can just offer everybody 40.
And then another cool thing about when you're selling to the builders is when they tell you they're buying properties at 50,000, they're not just buying 1 or 2. They're buying hundreds, if not thousands of lots for that year. So you can bring them 5 deals a month, make $50,000 a month. That's $600,000 in 1 year to one builder.
Right.
So that's how powerful it is when you find the builder first, is you can actually do not just one deal. Like I know a lot of people with houses, you're selling to somebody once or twice. With these builders, you can sell hundreds of times to the same builder.
I call it the waiter approach.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, hey, Mr. Waiter, I want a pizza, pepperoni. Okay, go get a pepperoni pizza.
Yeah. Right.
What are they gonna do? I don't want a pepperoni, no, you ordered it.
Yeah. Right.
So the best part about wholesaling land is, hey, I want 1/4-acre lots in this city, Cape Coral, this area, this zip code. Okay, here it is. You'll pay 50 grand. I have it locked up for 30. They're not gonna fight you. They're gonna pay 50. You'll make $20,000. It's literally that simple. In wholesaling houses, you sometimes get a deal and the buyer says, I don't want it.
Yeah.
They don't say no, they actually want it.
Yeah, and if they do say no, crazy thing about this is these builders are making so much money in the houses, and what we're going to get into next and how to pick your market, you'll never do a market where there's less than 5 builders in that market, right? So God forbid your builder says, oh, well, my house didn't close yet, so I don't have the funds. You just call the other 4 builders, right? And you're going to be offering cheaper than the lowest listing. So you're going to bring them a deal that they're going to make 6 figures on, and they're going to save money on it. And odds are it's going to be a bigger corporation, so they will have the money to do it. And then back to your earlier question, like the difference between this and house wholesaling is the business model itself. I almost compare it more to drop shipping versus house wholesaling, right? Because if you go and let's say I run a store, right, a t-shirt store, and someone will go on and they'll say, I'll buy this $20 t-shirt. You take the $20, you go pay a supplier $12, you ship it to them, you make $8, right? That's exactly what we're doing, but it's with one of the most expensive products in the world, right? So it's the same thing, but we're just using contracts rather than a website, and we're outreaching to them, right?
And then another thing of why it's good to find your builder and your buyer first is because when a lot of people are starting out in this business model or wholesaling real estate in general, where they go wrong is they're comping incorrectly. Comping meaning pricing a value of the property and making the right offer on a property, right? So if you're making a comp with a house, one could be 3 bedrooms where the one that sold 3 over, where you're going off of your value, could have had 4 bedrooms or an extra bathroom, or it could have had a pool, or it could have been 20 years newer. There's so many different things that can go wrong when you're making your offer, which is where a lot of beginners mess up. Whereas if you see a quarter-acre parcel, like Zach said, in Cape Coral, and you see one 3 lots over that sold for $50,000, yours most likely, it has no tree coverage, just like the other one. It looks exactly the same. It's the same exact size. Yours most likely, if you get it under contract at 40, you can sell it for the same price of 50, right? Because there's nothing else that's changing the value of the property. It's the same exact lot of one that sold 2 weeks prior. So you really can't mess up your comp. And then in addition, your builder told you he'd pay 50. So you already know who you're going to sell it to beforehand. So there's really no margin for error. You know?
Well, let's make this basic. Like, hey, I'm 17.
Right.
What in the world to comp? I don't even understand this stuff.
Yeah.
We're going
basic.
So let's break down just an exact wholesale land deal, like a very basic one. Let's just so a beginner. Let's break it down.
Step 1, right? Step 1 is going to be find my market, right? So when we're looking for a market, what you're going to look for is a couple things, right? So there's 3 or 4 key things that you need to check off whenever you're finding a market. So the first thing that we're going to show you how to do is we actually go and we find our markets based on where other people are doing deals, right? So a lot of people just saying, oh, I need to do Lehigh, I need to do Florida, right? I go on land.com, and on land.com, you can actually see, you can sort it by newest, and you can go 0.2 acre lots to 1 acre lots. And I want my price range to be $30,000 to $120,000. And then I'll just sort it by newest, and it'll give me 40,000 land sales. And I'll just look where other people are going. I take that zip code, plug it into Zillow, and when I look it up on Zillow, if there's 5 or more newly built homes, it could be a market, right? So to get back on track here, so the couple things that you're going to look for is 5+ new builds. Then you're going to look for identical lots, right? Because we want all the lots to be exactly the same because we're going to be making mass offers here.
Yeah, and we call it like looking for cookie cutter lots. So when you're cutting out a cookie of, let's say, a star shape, you want them all to look exactly the same, be the same exact size, be right next to each other in a line, and be in alignment. You don't want to be in an area, rural area in North Carolina, where there's a 1 acre property that's shaped like a rectangle, and then there's a 15 acre property that's shaped like a square. We don't want that because that would mean the values are going to be different. So you can mess up your comps. We want to have cookie cutter lots in our market.
And then a huge thing I want to touch on, because this is something that so many people, especially beginners, mess up, is you want the price to be over $25,000, right? So we've seen land deals upwards of $3 million on the purchase price, right? But people will do Northport, for an example. It's got to be for a beginner. Everyone's like, oh, Port Charlotte, Northport, these lots all look the same. There's so many new builds. The lots sell for 10 grand. How much money could you possibly make on a $10,000 lot? Right? So you want it to be $25,000 because you can get one at 20 and sell it for 25, right? But your ideal spot's going to be $25,000 to about $200,000, right? And obviously the more expensive you go, the more deals you're going to make, right? So now back to break down a deal, right? So you're going to find your market. Now I have my market. Then you're going to call the realtors or the agents, right? So one way you could do this is going on landatlas.ai, right? And there's going to be thousands of builders with their buy boxes. And what a buy box is exactly what a builder is going to buy and what they're looking to pay, right? So for an example, it might say I'm DR Horton. Here's the land acquisition rep. They want the zip code 33993 in Cape Coral. They'll pay $40,000 plus all closing costs. Make sure it's not on a main road. Make sure it's not on a highway. And make sure there's no protected owls or turtles on it, right?
Like Zach said, it's like the pizza order. Exactly.
Yeah.
They tell you exactly what they want, where they want it, and how much they'll pay.
Right. So that's going to be the paid method, right? Is using landatlas.ai to just kind of get your buy boxes, get your markets. And if you want to do it for free, you're just going to go on Zillow. You have your market, right? And you just go on for sale, houses, year built, 2025 or 2026. Because what this means is if they have a house that they built and it's new and it's for sale, that's not someone that just built a house to live there, right? Because it's for sale. So they're going to need more land to build more houses to sell them. So what it's going to show you on Zillow is first, you could go and find the builder, but I like to say this often is a lot of people call these builders and they spend all this time trying to make this extensive list of buy boxes. You just need one, right? So builders don't want friends, they want deals. I don't call a builder until I have a deal. I call the realtor that works with the builder. So the realtor will be directly on Zillow. You'll have the listing of the newly built house, right? It'll look like a red little house. Click on it, it'll have their phone number, call them. Hi, my name is Jackson. I'm looking to bring some off-market deals. I see you listed this newly built development. Are they looking for more land? And what are they looking to pay, right? When you're on that phone call, get all the information about the market, because even if they're not going to be your builder, you'll know what to offer, right? Because some markets might say if it's south of this street, it has utilities, so it's worth more money, right? So then you're going to do 2 different campaigns. But anyways, so they're going to give you that buy box, right? So now you got your market, and then you have your, oh, it's terrible, builder. So now once I have my market and I have my builder, it's time to find a deal, right? So my builder, let's say, says $40,000 Cape Coral.
Write out that buy box form.
Yeah.
So this is what a buy box will look like, guys.
Yeah. And we're going to break down like deep into each single one. Like there's plenty of ways to go into X leads. I mean, I just like to snipe. Like
Yeah.
I used to go to Zillow. I mean, I still do, but the for sale, new construction,
Yep.
address, property appraiser, owner, reverse it, call the acquisitions department. Because between you and me, there's a lot of idiot realtors.
Right.
So I just
Yep.
snipe them, go to
Yeah.
the acquisition. Do you have acquisitions department? Boom.
100%.
You can also do that too, but yeah.
Yep. So we have our buy box and we have our market. So the next thing is let's say our builder's at $40,000. So now you need to get a lead list for this, right? So 3 is going to be list. What this is going to do is you're going to be able to actually pull it's going to look like a big spreadsheet, and it's going to have the property address, the owner's name, the mailing address for them, and you're going to be able to skip trace that, which means get their phone numbers, right? So you're going to have this big extensive lead list now where it's fitting everything in this lead list. It might be 800 properties, it might be 8,000 properties, depending on what market you're in. It'll be every single property you can sell for $40,000. So what we do once we have this list is we need to make these offers to these sellers, right? So I'm going to be able to sell anything for $40,000, right? So in this example, I'd probably start with my offer at like $31,000. So what you're going to do is there's a couple different methods you can do this, and this is paid. We'll get into free also. But the paid methods will be direct mail, mass texting, or cold calling, right? So not cold calling, well, you could cold call yourself, or you could hire cold callers overseas. So with direct mail, you're going to be actually sending them postcards or contracts, right? We prefer contracts. You would send contracts to all 800 people at $31,000. Hey, my name's Jackson. I'll pay you $31,000. We actually attach a contract. Email or call me if you're interested, right? The second way will be mass texting. You can text them all. Hey, I can give you $31,000 for your property XYZ, right? The last one is going to be cold callers overseas, right? You'll have cold callers overseas, $4 an hour, cold calling all day long. Hey, I'll give you $31,000, right? Anyone that says yes, you then go ahead and move forward with the deal, right? So when you get your list and your mass marketing to all these people, right? And out of 800 people, you make them a very solid offer, right? You're not ripping anybody off. You're looking to negotiate, maybe work up to $35,000. You need one person out of 800 with 3 different marketing forms to say yes, to be able to make $9,000 at $31,000 or $5,000 at $35,000, right? The free way to do things is just simply, you can either go on True People Search and just go down Zillow and call every single property and offer them $31,000, or there's going to be a ton of listings, hundreds of listings on Zillow. And it might be listed for $50,000, right? But it might have been there for 6 months. And you just call these listings right away. Hey, my name is Jackson. I'm interested in purchasing this property. They'll give you a timeline here. So they'll say, I can close in 30 days and I can give you $32,000 plus closing costs, right? Most agents are going to get mad, right? But the thing is you can actually have these agents work with you to almost convince the seller to sell to you, because you'll say, hey, listen, I'm unrepresented. So if you can make this deal happen, instead of making 3%, you can be the buying agent for me. So now these agents are incentivized to sell to you. So they're going to call the seller, hey, listen, I know we haven't gotten an offer yet. You should go work with this Jackson guy. And they're going to say that because they're getting 6% instead of 3%, right? So that's completely free to do. You can sit there and, again, it's not going to happen on your first agent call, but if there's hundreds of listings, you can make that happen, right? Another tip, if you're going to be calling these agents, is to do it immediately, right? So a lot of these markets, like with YouTube and stuff like that, people will call the agents because it is a free method. So if I have a builder in a buy box, I sit on Zillow, and every 2-3 hours, I'll just sort it by the newest listings. Because if you're the first person to make an offer, you have a very high chance of getting that accepted. So now, let's say we finally get someone to say yes, $31,000, right? So I have someone at $31,000. I know my builder's at 40. I'm going to send them a purchase of sale agreement, and this is going to have an assignability clause, right? So buyer and/or assigner, something like that. Click off the assignment box. It has to have an assignment clause, and then something else that I recommend your contract will have is going to be something that has is a feasibility study or a due diligence period, right? And this feasibility or due diligence period means if you have to back out for whatever reason, whether your buyer doesn't come through, whether there's issues with the property, you will still be able to sell this. You'll be able to back out without owing any money, right? So with the feasibility study and the assignability clause, that means you can sell this person's property without ever purchasing it yourself. But if you can't purchase it for whatever reason, you don't have any risk, right? So that's why we do this feasibility study. We put it up until the closing date. And then if we can't find a buyer or our buyer says no, then we'll go ahead and terminate it, right? So my seller's going to sign at $31,000. This is a signable contract. Now I go back.
Write that on step 4. Too.
Let's draw out these contracts too for you guys. So this is step 4.
I would put step 4, marketing first.
Marketing.
So for example, while you're seeing this, I just got this text for one of my land deals. Just a lot I own. This is just an example, just so I could show it on you. This got autofocus.
And then contracts.
But I mean, I just get texts like this all the time. Oop. I ain't gonna show it.
Draw the contracts.
I don't know
here.
if this will show or not.
So 1 second. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, so it's simple like, hey, this is Lily. I'm reaching out because we're actively acquiring lots like yours, open to a conversation. It's just like, that's what the average text is. It's probably one of your, I mean, probably an ex-leads person, but like, that's all you have to do. You just send a text like that. I want to sell. Simple as that.
And then so when you finally get so like if you were to respond, that person might have a buyer at 130.
Yep.
They offer you 120. You say yes. You're going to need a contract signed that is assignable, meaning again, you can resell their property or assign it without ever owning it yourself, right? So you get that contract at $31,000. You then get the contract with the buyer signed at $40,000, right? So now I have this contract with the seller at 31. I have the buyer contract at 40,000. You take these two contracts, and then step 6 is my favorite part, getting paid. You just send it to a title company. When you send that, we're gonna go over everything with title work and stuff. Everyone stresses out about this. Any title company, if you just call a title company in the city, hey, do you do assignments? They'll probably, the first 3 that you call, one will say yes. You send them both contracts, and then you give them the seller information, your information, the buyer information. What I mean by that is name, phone number, email, and how much you're making, right? You send that off to them, you wait 2 to 3 weeks, you get a wire or a check for $9,000.
And then guys, I know we're going through everything quickly with the whole process A to Z. Then we're gonna actually go in step by step and break down everything in detail for you guys. So
like, how do I get a contract? What's this SMS? We're gonna break it all down.
So if you're not comprehending yet, just stick with us for a little bit and we're gonna go step by step here.
Yeah, and one tip I will just like throw in here that I forgot to mention, because we actually have a ton of students using this right now and crushing, and we've done it so many times, is even if I have a builder locked in, right, the first thing I do when I get a seller contract signed is I reach out to the next door neighbors, right? Because as a homeowner, the most annoying thing in the world is what, right? It's driving over nails. It's construction next door.
Yep.
They do not want this, and a lot of the time they've been trying to get this property for years, but their house is in Florida and the landowner lives in Michigan and they have no idea how to reach them.
Because they didn't see this video.
So if my builder's at 40, I might send it to the next door neighbor at 50. Right? And I'll say, hey, listen, there's going to be some new construction on the lot next door. I just wanted to give you the courtesy and reach out. Would you have any interest in purchasing this at 50? Right? Because they're probably going to try to negotiate. They always do. They might come back at 45. And even though the lot's worth 40, you're going to get an extra $5,000 by getting it to someone that has real use and real value for it. So that's just a big tip I like to throw in.
Yeah, and if you're like a real estate investor type guy, I have like 5 of these deals going on right now where we just buy the house, it's on like an acre, and we figure out how to just basically split the lot.
Yep.
And that works
we
really
did one like that too.
Those are really sexy too, especially, we have one that's like 0.75 acres and we just sell the land, and I got the house. And a lot of people don't understand, but like a house on an acre is worth so much less than the house on half an acre you can cut up and sell for
100%.
like 0.25 acres.
100%.
It's so easy also to do these splits, right? Like which we're getting like a little bit deep, like not for beginners, but I can't tell you how many times that we would just buy lots on like corners and just file a paper with the city. It would take a week and we'd split it into 2 buildable lots instead of 1 buildable lot.
And then what Zach was saying too is not only with houses is that a big thing to pay attention to, but a good example of this in a market is Cape Coral, Florida.
Yep.
There's 0.25 acre properties, then there's lots called a triple lot. Each lot is actually 5,000. They call a 5,000 square foot lot. A single lot is what they call it on the appraiser. So a double lot will be a typical quarter acre lot. You can build 1 house. A triple lot, a lot of sellers think it's double the price or double the value because it's bigger and you can have a bigger backyard. But unfortunately, like you said, you can't split it. You would need 4 lots. You would need it to be a half acre to be able to split it in half. So if it was a half acre lot, it's worth double. But because it's just a triple lot, you can't actually split it, even though it has a little bit bigger of a backyard. It doesn't add much more value to it. So that's something that is important that a lot of people mess up too.
Go ahead.
Something big I just want to like touch on because we've been teaching this for a while, coaching this for a while, and we get the same questions over and over again, right? Is this saturated? Why are you guys teaching? How are you going to make deals if you show people how to do it? Is there over 1 million lots purchased by home builders each year, right? And there's maybe 1,000 people in the country, probably, or actually the world, doing this at a high level, right? So what's happening right now is, I would guess, what, Carson, maybe 100,000 lots get flipped, not even, maybe 50,000 lots?
Probably 50,000 lots a year.
Right, so there's 950,000 lots that get purchased each year, and these builders are stuck paying for lots that they don't want, and they're stuck overpaying because their only option to purchase it is from the MLS. So any of you guys that reach out to it, they would prefer to purchase from you. They would prefer to save money and actually have you hand pick the lots that they want rather than having to only have the option of the ones on the market, right? So you're taking business away from realtors. That's why realtors don't like wholesalers, because you also make way more money. But to answer like everyone's question, this is nowhere near saturated, right? And another big thing with land too is you're never going to be the first person that like reaches out and they're like, oh, I forgot I own this property for 30 years. Like they all know they own it. It's about hitting these people on the right day more than anything. We've said the same campaign 65 times, times 66, the seller responds for the first time when we make a deal on it, right? So like whether they need to make a mortgage payment or a credit card payment, like everybody has their reasons where they might need cash, and your value that you're bringing to them is you're able to bring them cash quickly, right? And a lot of people might say like, why don't the sellers cut you out, right? Or why would the sellers work with you? But the sellers actually benefit from this just as much as the builders, right? So let me explain this to you. If I was a good real estate agent, right, which there's way more bad ones than good ones, but if I was a good real estate agent, right, and I'm in Southwest Florida, right, I'm going to make 3%, maybe 4% commission on land, but would I rather work on a $40,000 Cape Coral lot, right, have people go to the lot, go do drone photos, do the listing, do the paperwork.
So just make a $1,200 commission.
To make $1,200, or would I rather do a $4.5 million house in Naples, right? Like that's a good agent. To do the same amount of work, would I rather make $100-something thousand, or would I rather make $1,200? So good agents won't even touch land. So what's going to happen is if I'm a seller, I'm going to list this property with a beginner, an assistant, or a bad agent. They're probably going to end up taking 8% between both sides, right? Then they're going to tell you, so I might come in and I'll say, hey, I give you $40,000 plus all closing costs. I'll close in 28 days. That's what my builder told me. An agent might say, oh, no, you got to let's list it at 52.9, right? So the seller's head, they're thinking, oh yeah, I'll get 52. Yeah. They list it at 52.9. It's not worth that, obviously. It's going to sit there for 6 months. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to drop it to 44.9, 47, whatever that may be. Then they're going to get an offer for 42. You know what? I've had it forever. Let's just take that $42,000 offer. Now that 8% comes into the agents, right? What is it? $2,000, right? More, right? Then $3,000 there. Then they have closing costs of $1,200, right? So they're going to walk with $37,500 after 6-7 months versus just selling it to us for $40,000 with a 28-day close, right? So that's kind of why the sellers benefit by working with us. The builders obviously save money on the lands, and also like the speed to close is quickly because you're going to get those terms from the builder, right? So I see here you put up some hot markets.
So I was just showing this really quick. So if you just want to understand why land wholesaling is always going to be good, it is in certain markets. So for example, let's talk about Arizona. The exodus of people from California into Arizona, there's more people coming into Arizona than ever before.
Right.
You got to understand, there's these pockets, this is kind of Arizona map. I know it looks rough, but like you have Phoenix here, right? Yep. And you have all this empty land right here. What happens when everyone in California moves to Arizona? The suburbs sprawl out, and there's just this vacant land that the developers want to develop in.
One thing I want to add into this, and this is what makes these markets so good, is so like COVID happened, everyone starts working online, right? So everyone goes from California to Arizona, New York to Florida, because why would I pay these high property taxes if I don't have to? But what happens, and you saw this in Port St. Lucie, is the lots in Port St. Lucie went from 3,000 to 165,000 in 5 years. But the reason this happens is because when the house goes from 400,000 to 500,000, right? So let's say a lot's worth $10,000 and a newly built house is $400,000, right? All the people move in, that market goes crazy. It goes from 400 grand to 500 grand for a newly built house. The cost to build doesn't change, right? There's 20 builders in the market. So to make their same margin, they, instead of paying $10,000, can now pay $110,000. So I've seen in 6 months, lots go from 10 grand to 110. They get a letter from the government that says your property's worth 10 grand. They paid 4,500 bucks. You offer them 90. What are they going to say, right? So that's.
I buy a house for people. I've owned a house since 2002. I bought it for 100 grand.
Yeah.
Here, 300. Sell for 5.
Yeah.
Same thing. People in New York, all moving to Florida, Illinois, Texas, California. I mean, these are, in my opinion, the hottest 4 states that I found for land.
Hawaii.
Hawaii's a good one too.
That's a whole different animal. But I'll tell you this. You wonder why land's there's all this empty land. If you look at a map of all these states, there's all this empty land right by major urban centers.
Yep.
Everyone's moving in, suburb sprawl, developers, that's what they do. And so if you ever want to know is land saturated, there's more people moving to these areas than ever before in history.
Right.
The demand is higher than it's ever been.
Well, either way, for it to be saturated, builders would have to go out of business, right? So I'll get the question, right, is what happens when Port St. Lucie fills up? Well, they just move to Palm Bay. What happens when Palm Bay fills up? They just move to Ocala, right? These builders don't retire, they just move markets, right? Another big thing when we're talking about markets here is you never want to be in a metro city, right? So like I'm never going to do Miami. I'm not going to do Palm Beach. I'm going to do Port St. Lucie. I'm not going to do Tampa. I'm going to do Cape Coral. I'm not going to do Jacksonville.
Yeah, so like I'll draw a little map of that right here. So let's draw.
And by the way, while he's recording this, I want to let you know that, let's do the financials real quick. D.R. Horton just made,
let's wipe this off.
They just made $4 billion this year. Just FYI, they made $4 billion. I don't think they're going away anytime soon.
Right.
It's one of the biggest builders in the country. So,
right, and they love to work with the signers, right? Like we've done countless deals with DR. Like they're amazing to work with the signers. And they pay great prices, and they have a land acquisition specialist just to do this, right? So
that's Naples. We're pushing outward. We're pushing
Naples is way more south. That's like Tampa.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, but you want to be 30 to 45 minutes from a metro city, right? So I'm not going to do Houston. I'm going to go 30 minutes outside. I'm not going to do Dallas.
And then as these other areas fill up, and we know this from having direct conversations with the builders, is they're going to say, okay, we can't build out here, obviously, so we pushed up to Flagler. Okay, now we're full in Flagler. We're going to push up to the next area that's further out. We're going to push up to the next area that's further out. We're pushing out to Cape Coral. Now Cape Coral is full. We're pushing up to Lehigh Acres. And they keep pushing outward, outward, and outward because, as Zach said, more people are moving to Florida. That city fills up. They need to build houses somewhere else to keep their business going. They move outward. They move outward. They move outward. And then the values continue to raise because there's only so much real estate in Florida. There's only one Florida, and there always will be.
Something else to note about his states right here is they're all, Arizona's 2.2% or whatever it is, they're all 0% state income tax states, right? Because everyone moved during COVID, so the houses went up, the land went crazy, right? That's also why Washington's very good. Hawaii, for some reason, we have students hitting massive deals
Wyoming
there.
sucks. I thought Wyoming would be pretty
Wyoming?
hot.
Yeah,
it's not. It's 0%. It's not hot, though.
Arkansas is probably the second best market after Florida. So there's a lot of very, very hot markets going on in Arkansas.
And one thing I want to touch on too is a lot of people have the question of, what if it's a bad real estate market? What if the market's going down? Are you guys going to not be able to make money and not make your fees? It's actually the opposite. The only thing that's bad in the wholesaling land business is stagnation. When the market is not moving, there's not a lot of volume, there's not a lot of sales going on. Whenever the market is going up, it's extremely easy to sell things for more than they're worth. And you're able to make your fee in between. Because keep in mind, guys, we're in and out of these deals in 2 to 3 weeks. So when the market's going up, we're crushing it because we're selling it for more than it's worth. And when the market's going down in value, these sellers are panic selling, and they need to sell these properties, and they really need to get the cash for it. So they'll panic sell and quick sell these properties for less than it's worth. And we still are in and out in 2 weeks. Okay, yeah, our builder's not at 45 anymore. He's at 40. But when we were getting them at 35 in the hot market, these sellers are now panic selling for 28. So we get it for 28, sell for 35. We're still making our same fee, whether it's a good market or whether it's a bad market. The only thing we don't like is stagnation, which almost never happens in real estate.
And so I usually don't give addresses out, but I want to show one other part of wholesaling land that I don't think anyone really talks about. We have a mutual person we know that actually talks about this, but I just want to show an example. This is how knowing developers help you in wholesaling houses. So 1811, I just want to show this address really quick, just so you understand. 1811 West Superior. This is in an area that actually kind of sucks for wholesaling, but it's 1811 West Superior Street. So this is a house in Chicago. Okay. This was on the market for, I believe, geez, man, on the market for about $650,000 on the MLS. And it was just sitting there. What we did, this was right by where the Chicago Bulls play.
Okay.
So like very nice area. And this is a $650,000 house, and all the houses across the street are $3 to $4 million.
Yep.
And so what I did, because I'm kind of dumb sometimes, I made an offer to buy it for $620K. I know that doesn't sound good at all. My bad. It was listed for, let me see what this estimate is on this thing. Yeah, it was $650. I got under contract for actually $590. My bad. We got it for $590. All I did was I found a guy across the street that bought a house like this, bulldozed it, built a $4 million house.
Right.
That's all I did. And guess what? It was an ugly looking house. Really disgusting, actually. So what I did, locked it up for $590, sold it for $620, and collected $30,000.
Yep.
Technically, I wholesaled the land because the house was worthless.
Yep.
This is a true story. I have a YouTube video on this. Why I was selling this to a developer, okay? I got a call because I was calling realtors in the area from Chicago PD. This is a true statement. I'll show you, the picture's gonna be on here. Chicago PD called me and offered me $10,000 to film a shootout scene at the house, and they're gonna destroy the house. I said yes for one reason. If I could go on set and meet the crew. Now, when they found out I actually didn't own the property, they were gonna give it to the seller. Because I'm a jerk, I told the seller, how about I give you $10,000? I found a way we can film a TV show, but I'm gonna have to get a reduction. She accepted it. So I technically got paid from Chicago PD, and I went out to the property, and it was a lot of money. It was pretty sick. I will show you the pictures later. Actually, I can show. I'll show some pictures on it.
And that's the big thing, guys. Is like when you guys are doing these luxury markets, which we'll talk about a lot, is when you're looking at these houses, they might have been built 60 years ago, but the house next door is selling for $3 million, $10 million, whatever that may be. All these developers look at it as land, right? You can bulldoze anything for 20, 30 grand, right?
And one reason why we know this, guys, is we've been on the other side of it. Is we have a project going on where this property was listed for $4.5 million.
Yep.
Jackson, it was a house on a lot, waterfront lot over in Marco Island, Florida. A really beautiful lot.
They
with
paid
nice
$30,000
open waterfront
for the
view.
land.
They paid $30,000. They had this 1,700 square foot house on it.
It's like 70
and
years old.
It was listed for $4.5 million. Jackson made an offer at 2.6. We settled at 2.95 million. Paid out somebody that brought the deal a $125,000 finder's fee for bringing that land. $125,000 just for bringing this land deal, which technically had a small house on it that we bulldozed after. Then we built a house that we now have listed for $13 million. But again, we know on the other side how much you can make on the development side, so it doesn't matter to pay out that finder's fee because you know how much is guaranteed to be made on the back end. Right? So.
Yeah, and then as he pulls this up here, like, this is going to be the luxury stuff, right? Like, we're going to get into the customary, just like quick flips to builders, right? To where
our average profit per deal with the infill land stuff is just over 8,400 bucks. Just over 8,400 bucks.
So, but there's big deals, right? Like, just to kind of get into more stories about this is, we've done multiple deals now where we've reached out to unbuildable properties and been able to make six-figure profits on them, right? Because the seller owns more land, or they own 40 more lots, or it's a specific lot, right? So, the biggest thing about markets that people mess up is they think they need this perfect market when just starting and taking action is basically all you need to do here, right? Because we've done 2 or 3 six-figure deals now off of unbuildable properties. Yeah. So like, just to give you that story, right? Because we didn't know what we were doing. You guys, 20 minutes into this video, will know more about land flipping than Carson and I knew when we hit our first six-figure deal, right? And at the time, we were just texting. We'd probably done like 100 deals on accident, just pen paper, flipping it to a builder. We looked at these lots as numbers. We didn't really know what anything was going on. And I was like, it's December. I'm like, all right, well, we've made the first money of our life. I was like, I know people write off stuff for taxes. So it was December 28th, and I just sent out random postcards, right? And I think they ended up being yours because it was the open letter marketing ones with offers. So I remember I like had them figure out so I could put my own offers on them. I just sent them a random formula. These offers were super random. I had no idea what I was doing. And we'd only done Cape Coral and Lehigh when we sent these offers. I did all of Florida. And again, I didn't know what I was doing. I just pulled a random list of all of Florida, just made sure the lots were the same size. We send these postcards out. And it was like 2 days before his birthday. Like, they take like 3 weeks to hit. It was like January 21st, I think, of 2023. I get a call from the seller. and she's like, hey, listen, you sent me an offer for my property, and I didn't even know what I offered her, right? So like, cause there was no tracking back then. So I was like, all right, like what's your offer, right? Or what would you like for them? She's like, well, I have these 4 lots in Jacksonville. The lot I looked up first, like was unbuildable, completely unbuildable, didn't have street access and was full of wetlands. And I was like, all right, what do you want for them? She's like, I'll take 37,000, right? I didn't know how to comp. I honestly, like, they didn't have addresses. I didn't even know how to find them, right? So like, I found it on the appraiser and I was like, Carson, they're assessed at 10 grand. And we're like, well, Cape lots are assessed around 10 grand and they're worth more than 10. So why not, right? So she signs at 37,000.
The assignable contract.
Then I call an agent. Hey, what are these 4 lots worth, right? Again, we mailed to unbuildable property. What are these 4 lots worth? 180. I'm like, all right, I don't really know if I believe that. Calling another agent. What are these 4 lots worth? 195. Right. So at that point, we started kind of freaking out. We ended up making about $145,000 on that deal. And at that point, we first of all knew we needed to send mail. We actually had some other big deals from that mail campaign, which again,
screenshots of those properties.
But the reason I tell you guys this is I can't tell you how many people put off starting to the point where they don't even start because they don't have the perfect market or the perfect buy box. Just send campaigns, right?
And guys, I hope you're understanding that's $140,000 in profit. I know we're talking about big deals and big numbers because we're used to it, but like, you guys need to be doing, like, taking action now and putting yourself out there now. Make calls today, make calls tomorrow. Be taking notes on this video. Don't let this opportunity pass you up because who knows how long it's going to be here for. Where you can make a 5-10 minute phone call and have the opportunity to literally make 6 figures on a real estate deal without having a license, signing a contract that a beginner can start. I hope you guys are understanding, like, this is absolutely crazy.
He was 19 when we hit that deal.
I was 19, he was 21 years old. We made $140,000 in profit off of a deal. It sounds stupid, but it happened. Like, it's crazy.
And we needed the money at that time. That was like our life-changing
breakthrough
deal at that point. The month that deal went through, those other mailers hit too, and like these were postcards. I guess no one was doing it, or I might have had like magic offers on them. I was actually really upset about this because like we just moved to Miami at the time, and we were like talking to people in the building, and we're like, I think we might do like $300,000 this month. And that was our goal. Like we had this goal, and like
3 months out of college.
Like 3 months out of college, like, and our goal was $300,000. No team, mind you. And so the bank statement, the assignment fees, it came out to $299.
$299 and
like
change.
600 or something, right? 3 months later, I get a call from the title company. Great title company, by the way. They just like forgot to, they call, hey, and we did so many deals that month, I didn't even notice. We forgot to mail your check. This was from March. It's a like $1,800 check or something.
$2,000 deal. But just over $301.
Like that was like kind of our first breakthrough month with this. And guys, I'm not saying all you guys are going to be able to do that, but like if you're able to do 10% of what we were able to do at 19 and 21, or I was 22, what would $30,000 a month do for you?
With probably less knowledge than you guys are gaining from this video right now.
But everyone will say, oh, it's not possible. I don't believe you guys. It's not. It's like, have you tried? Right? Like so many, this video, it might have 4,000 views. It might have 130,000 views when you're watching it. I guarantee you less than 1% of people will even take the slightest action. I've learned that from coaching thousands of people, right? And it's the craziest thing for me to see that. But I'm sure you see it every day also, right?
Dude,
like, and just taking the smallest action puts you that much further than everybody else, right? Now, give a good example of this is we had a free school community, right? We still do, right? And this community was just to give like introduction, right? And we obviously have our paid program and stuff. And in that community, we were getting about 1,000 people a day to join at one point. We were spending a lot of ads on it. And we had for our members in there, we had a code for 30 days free on PropStream, right? So to sign up for a free website, we would have 1,000 people join the school, a full program to teach them how to do everything, and 30 days free on PropStream. We were getting 7 people a day out of 1,000 to use the free code, right? So that's just my point is you guys don't take the slightest action. I'm not calling you out specifically, but just like people in general that kind of like watch this. And I was in the same position Carson was for a long time, right? You watch these videos online, I want to start a business, I want to start a business. But information's one part, implementation's the second, right? And if you don't do implementation, like manifest, like manifestation without inaction, with no action is just delusion, right? Like nothing is going to happen until you make a phone call, until you do something like that. And like, I'm sure you'll say the same thing, right? Like,
I want to make this very clear. Okay.
Back to the little whiteboard.
Everybody. If you're getting to wholesaling land for a Wraith, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna fail. Like you will fail.
Right.
If this is your goal, it's over. Your goal needs to be to retire your mom, retire your kids, retire your wife. If it's an inanimate object you're getting into wholesaling real estate for, you're going to fail.
Right.
Your why has to be greater than yourself. A car, I mean, would you give up his life for a car?
Yeah.
No. I mean, a car's cool, but like, the motivation to help your brother or your mom out or your family out is so much greater
To be able to
of a
spend more time with
motivator.
your family.
Yeah,
When you're hour 2 of cold calling and you don't want to do it anymore,
Right.
you know what? I like my Toyota. It's cool.
Right.
But hey, I need to help my family. That's going to push you up. And the reason why we're talking about mindset first before we get into the info,
Nothing else matters.
nothing else matters.
Elon Musk could be your mentor. You're not going to make a dollar if you don't
Yep.
take action, right? So a couple big things on this too is like, for us, our reason was always like, we had our internships and we were doing this is I couldn't sit at a desk job and I had to work for myself, right? And our biggest goal was to be able to travel the world and be able to do it when you're young, right? Like you can't go skiing in Japan when you're 75. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. And like, we had all these like, kind of like you buy your dream cards and stuff. And it's like, once you've already been able to travel and you have your business set up and stuff like that, and you do 500,000 in a month, like sure, we're going to buy a Ferrari or a dream car or go to a nice house or something, but it shouldn't be to do that, right? That's not going to push you through the day, right? Because you're going to understand, okay, it could be a Rolls Royce or the Acura that we shared that was old, right? Like either way, I'm going to drive to a place, right? Either way, I'm going to sleep in a bed, right? So that can't get you through it.
It's not going to
has
make you
be-
happy. It can make you
right.
proud, sure, and you can be proud to have it as like a trophy. Like that's why we get watches or cars like a trophy. If we hit a milestone or something, like we earned it, I'm comfortable buying this. Something like
but
that.
whatever it may be, right? Like because you make even one small deal a month, right? And you're doing 7,000 a month, but it means you don't have to listen to your boss anymore. It means you can travel. It means you can.
What's that really worth?
You don't have to sit in traffic for 2 hours every single day on the way to the office, right? Like how much is that worth, right? So keep that in mind when you're getting started with everything. The second thing that you guys have to understand, which I think you guys have checked it off because you guys are watching this video, is you have to believe in yourself that you can do it, right? Because otherwise you will never try, right? So you have to believe it's possible to do it, right? Because I can't tell you how many people will be like, oh, this doesn't work. It's impossible. Oh, this is fake. You guys are scammers. Whatever it may be, right? You have to believe other people are doing it. You then have to believe you can do it, learn the proper information, and then just implement it, right? And that's all it's going to take for you guys to start this out and be successful for a lot of you guys.
And then
right?
now should we get into the 5 steps and break it all down?
Let's break it all down right now. But the whole mindset, guys, is do it for something greater than yourself. Now you got the mindset. Let's get into it.
That's the step one before
Big
step
whiteboard,
one of
little
this
whiteboard.
is I think first this because we started here.
Okay.
And then we'll jump to that one. But yeah,
Yeah.
step one is you got to get your mindset right. If your mindset's not right, go watch mindset videos and then come back to this point right here.
And you don't need motivation. Just get to work here.
Yeah.
When you're looking to get started in your first market, right? Again, the first thing you could do is you could go land.atlas.ai, right? So what that's going to have is there are going to be thousands of builder buy boxes that have filled out forms to purchase specifically from you guys, right? So it is a paid software, right? If you guys want to get into this for free, you're going to go to Zillow or land.com, right? And where you're going to go is you're basically just going to scroll around on Zillow and you're going to look for a lot of yellow dots. This would mean land sales, right? And when you're looking for this, you're just basically looking for all these yellow dots and you're looking for an area that has a lot of these sales. Right, so I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but the biggest thing is you need new builds in the area, right? If there's no builders, even if there's land sales, like you don't want to be working with investors. You just want to get it off to a builder, right? So you need new builds, you need cookie cutter lots, and they need to be worth more than $25,000. You also need a state where wholesaling is legal, right? I believe, Zach, there's what, 4 or 5 states where wholesaling is illegal?
Stop. I've wholesale real estate in every state. I think by last year, I just showed you a deal in Chicago. I just did that deal in Chicago.
Okay, well,
Every state,
Well-
you can do a wholesaling deal in any state in the United States of America if you talk to a real estate attorney or a title company that has an attorney on file.
okay.
Don't wanna hear it.
We
Do not
avoid
wanna hear
we
it.
avoid the gray area states. So
And by the way, if you're in an area and if you have a land deal, and if it's an area where you think it's illegal, send it to me, I'll buy it.
Right.
You'll buy it too.
yeah, well,
If it's a good deal, you buy it.
No, 100%.
So you
So-
can always just send me the deal.
so anyways, new builds, you need 5+, right? So 5 or more newly built houses in the zip code. You need cookie cutter lots. They need to be worth more than 25,000. And I
What's
wrote
the
this-
size of a cookie cutter lot that you look at?
Usually a quarter acre, half an acre, or an acre, right? That's typically, like, we don't touch anything over 2 acres, right? So the last thing is gonna be a niche market, right? And what this means is this is how we've made probably over half, 3/4 of our money, is we're gonna do a market in a hot city that is not customary, right? And I'll give you an example of this, and you'll get this information from realtors when you call them. So when I'm looking at a market, I'm gonna see a bunch of these yellow dots, these sales. And there might be 100 sales in Lehigh and 33972 in the last 14 days, right? And when I'm looking at that, all the sales will say 20K, 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 20K. But then I'm gonna see 2 sales that say 50,000, right? So I'm gonna call those agents and say, hey, why did this lot sell for 50? And what they told me was, well, this one's zoned for a duplex. Even though it doesn't have 2 addresses, this is a duplex lot, right? So I'm in my head, I'm like, what are these duplex lots worth? And she's like, well, my buyer will pay 50,000. So everyone else is offering these people $10,000. If you find a niche market like that, you can go in and offer $40,000 and still make $10,000, right? So that's an example of one. Another example would be like, everyone will do Cape Coral, right? So Cape Coral normal lots will sell for like $30,000 or $40,000. But the ones that have utilities on a freshwater with the seawall will sell for $120,000, right? So just knowing that and making your niche campaigns, doing these targeted, marketed, and these sniper lists, you're gonna be able to do one, much bigger deals, and there's no competition for these niche markets, right? So whenever I'm getting into a new market, I call agents and ask what impacts value, right? And sometimes this could be zoning, sometimes this could be seawalls, water frontage, commercial, right? Lots you can split, right? So all this stuff will feed into some of it. Like another example of this could be if I'm looking at like Supply, North Carolina, and all the lots are selling for $20,000, but an agent says, well, this neighborhood is on a golf course and has a gate. These lots sell for $100,000. I might just do that little neighborhood, right? So finding this niche market to where you can make serious money and really scale your business is something else that's big. But a lot of the information on markets you're gonna get from realtors, right? And every single thing when you call these agents that have listed the newly built houses, ask them what goes into the market and use that for your negotiation when you're talking to sellers, right? So they might say, well, this market, it's very expensive to remove trees out here, and because it's on a dirt road, it's not going to be as valuable, blah, blah, blah. Whatever they tell you, wetlands, environmental, whatever they tell you is the same stuff you're going to tell to the sellers. You sound way more knowledgeable.
And you can use in negotiations.
And 800 deals later, every single new market I do this because I can do 10,000 deals. If I'm doing the middle of nowhere, Texas, or the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, an agent that's been doing land there for 30 years will know a whole lot more about the market than I will, and they're going to teach me about it so I know how to pull my list. Right, so that's the biggest thing with markets, and then they're going to go ahead now and get into.
I don't know if this wheels, but what you're saying too is what I mean. I already know how your business works. It's very similar.
Right.
So there's a deeper layer. Like when you say Lehigh Acres, you got to understand that the best markets for land that I found are what I call secondary markets.
Right.
So for example, Orlando, no, you want to do Palm Bay, or Sebring's been really good too.
Wedgefield.
Yep. Houston, Katy, Texas for me has been crazy. West Palm, no. These are all, by the way, 45 minutes to an hour away from the major
Which is exactly
center.
what we're saying about pushing outward.
Naples, these areas,
or like Tampa to the
Tampa,
east.
Charlotte, Gastonia. You got to remember, think of like the area. I used to call them NBA cities. Where there's an NBA team going hour out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, this is so bad because we're going to so many people watching this video. If the wholesalers in land that don't watch this video, they're not running at these areas. Like, who's doing Lewisburg, North Carolina? I'm telling you, a 19-year-old kid watching a land guy on YouTube is not going there.
Right.
So this is when we talk about saturation.
Oh, I can
Houston
name
is
100
saturated.
markets like this.
Bro, if you have a land deal in Houston, if you try to wholesale in Houston, you're cooked.
Right.
Beaumont, Texas is really good too. But
yeah. I mean, Marion Oaks for Orlando, right? You have Palm Coast. You have St. Mary's, Georgia. You have Ocala, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
You have where else is big? Anything
North
Hawaii, I like.
Port Charlotte, those areas we talked about. There's a lot of
Expensive
wholesale
ones.
really still happening.
Expensive ones. Citrus Springs with utilities. Sebring.
Zephyr-Hill's been. I have a $200,000 deal in Zephyr-Hills right now.
Crystal River. There's some areas
Bonita
in Duval
Springs.
County.
We had a $110,000 deal in Bonita Springs. We'll pop up that lot right here.
On a HUD.
Got it for $165, sold it for $275.
Trying to think of just other markets that, like, again, guys, anything in these states. So like this is kind of different because this doesn't really go by the builder first method because we know builders everywhere at this point. But our biggest deals have came off statewide campaigns, right? So everyone's so concerned about what state do I get into or what market? I need a specific zip code or I need a niche market. Our biggest deals and our best buyers actually have came when I pull a list of every property in Florida, 0.2 to 2 acres. I want it to be assessed from 25,000 to 200,000 and they owned it for more than 5 years. I'm going to give them the cold callers. I'm going to text it. The ones that don't answer my cold callers or say wrong number, I'm going to send mail to, right? And that's how we find all of our markets, right? So again, not a lot of people aren't going to want to get into this and spend a ton of money on marketing. But the answer to this question is there are quite literally thousands of markets you can do.
And you're never going to struggle to sell a piece of land in anywhere where Jackson's saying when we're telling you to go in a market where there's enough volume of sales, you're never going to struggle to sell land. I'll use this example. Jackson says it all the time. If I get a $30,000 Rolex, and I get it for $10,000. I don't need to be a watch dealer to sell that for $20,000, right? That's 66%.
You're getting an asset for
That's
less than it's
66% of what the asset's worth, right? So if we get a $30,000 piece of land under contract for $10,000, I don't need to be a land expert to sell it for $20,000, right? I have one of the most valuable assets in the country under contract for 30, 40, 50% of what it's worth. I don't need to be an expert to sell a 20% difference
Right.
and sell it for 30% below what it's worth. You're never going to struggle to
That's
sell
why we make
something.
money in wholesaling. What's that Wraith cost?
200.
200. Right. So if, let's say I have no money, and I found that you said you're going to sell it to me for 150 right now.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a dealership to.
All I have to do is just find some rich guy who will pay 190 for it. He'd be like, wait, it's a $200,000 car. I can buy it for 190.
That's how these builders see this, right?
Like, they're like, dude, this is a deal of a lifetime.
I really want to harp on this. The only bad market is not starting, right? I am telling you guys, any campaign you send, any call you make,
And
like,
don't overthink any of your decisions.
Unless that's the biggest, most important thing is it has to be worth more than like $20,000 or even more than 10, because every lot in the country worth over $10,000 has a price. We've gotten a deal in Supply, North Carolina. We got it for $1,000, bought it ourselves, sold it for $14,000. It was unbuildable, no street access, nothing. Neighbor wanted it, right? We got one in Jacksonville, 0 Maple Street, and there was no street access. Again, it was just someone's backyard. We got it for $30,000, sold it for $82,000, right? $50,000 deal on an unbuildable property, right? So every lot in the country has a price, right? There's a price, it's an asset.
Okay,
right?
Jacksonville. I got a deal sent in last month in Jacksonville. The lady wanted $5,000 for her lot.
Yeah.
And the builder said, even if you gave it to me for free, I wouldn't build.
Right, so there are lots
high crime areas, watch, the builder said, if you gave it to me for free, I don't even want it.
Yeah, so minimum
high
value,
crime.
like 10
We're talking hot areas.
No. So look at crime rates in your city or area. High crime rate, your builder might give you a zip code, but if it's on like a high crime rate area, it's very rare. I mean, there ain't much gang activities in Lehigh Acres.
I will give you guys some game that actually I don't think anyone's ever talked about, because we're just getting this now from our students. We have 2 or 3 students doing this right now in the most random markets you've ever heard of. Like, no one knows them except for me and them. And one of them, no team, 60 deals in the last 45 days.
Yeah.
And what these deals are, these lots are assessed at like $1,000, and who they're selling them to is they're getting them for $3 to $5 grand. They're selling them for 12 to 15 to Section 8 guys who will buy it, build Section 8 housing, lease them out, and they have these partnerships with them. These are markets that you would not even think about going. Like, not even, they're the only people wholesaling there.
Shout out David if you're watching this.
Yeah, literally has probably cleaned up $500,000 in the last 60 days with this Section 8 guy, and the guy wants to buy 1,000 more, right? Like, these little niche markets, that's what I'm saying though, is there could be 10,000 people doing this. You just got to meet one builder. You just got to talk to the right person. You could even it's as easy as next time you're at dinner, right? With homeowners. Do you guys want the lot next door to your house? How much will you pay? Cool. Then you call that person and offer them $10,000 less, right? So this business model is all you're doing is you're getting a landowner and a land buyer to agree to 2 different prices. You collect the difference, right?
That's it. I would also tell you, when you're talking to these people, you might not have a lot of confidence right now. Like, I want to buy your house.
Right.
Guess what? Me and LeBron James have combined won 5 NBA championships. It's a true statement.
Right.
So if I say me and my partner, Carson, are looking to buy and develop, you get a little more bravado. You sound like you know what you're doing. Like, hey, if you have a buyer, a builder, hey, me and my partner, he's a builder, we work together, we're looking to buy in the area. So you have instant credibility with these people too. And I think that's a problem a lot of people have when it comes to finding markets or finding buyers, is they feel nervous talking to someone. It's like, you're working with a massive developer. So
the thing is too about that is you will get significantly better the more you do it. Like if
you think we were good at cold calling 4 years ago, we made our first 10 cold
videos,
calls?
like, guys, probably scroll down on our channel, watch Carson's first Instagram reels, right? Like, he started with 800 followers a year and a half ago, right? Like, but he's posted 1,200 reels, right? So you get better at it as you go. It's the same thing with cold calling. The biggest tip I have for cold calling, and I still do this to this day, like, the first person that will watch this video will probably be the 3 of us, right? And I'll sit there and I'll take notes. I said there, I said there, do this better, right? So what I always did, and depending on what state you're in, so maybe you have to tell them you're recording it, is I would spend an hour and a half, I would record all my calls for the day, tell them I'm recording, and I would start the recording when they answer, stop it after, and then so it's not ringing or you're not bored, whatever. And I would have an hour and a half of recordings once a week, and we did this with our sales team as well, we would listen to those recordings. What could I have said better here? What could I do better there? Because you're going to get better the more calls you make, but when you're giving yourself feedback and listening to it and actually hearing it live, you're going to get better so much faster, right? So a lot of people don't give themselves feedback. They'll just make calls and be like, why am I not better at this? So that actual live feedback.
And again, the only way you're going to get experience is just by doing more cold calls. If I make 100 cold calls a day, every single day, I'm going to make 37,000 cold calls by the end of the year.
Right.
I'm going to be an expert at cold calls by the end of the year. That's only 1 year, and I can be a pro.
And we'll do like
40,000 times. You think my heart's going to be racing on the 37,469th call?
That's the thing is we'll be on our coaching call and I'll get a call and I'll be like, hey guys, watch this seller call. Hey, I'm recording you, whatever. They'll be like, I don't understand how you're so good at the phone. I can't make deals because I'm not doing it like you. I'm like, well,
I didn't used to be.
No, it's like, yeah, we've been making 100 cold calls a day for 4 years. It's like you've made 11 cold calls. I've made 120,000. Yep. Obviously, I'm better, right? So like, that's the thing though, is you don't have to be good at this, especially with this.
You just have to start.
Is another big mistake people make is they think this is a sales job. So like, I'm not good at sales. I'm not going to be successful in this. It is that going to be further from the truth, because it doesn't matter who you are. It could be Zach, it could be me, it could be Carson. If you have a landowner that wants $100,000 for a property that you can offer them 20 grand for, you will never convince them to sell it for that. So more than that, you just need to get the marketing out and make enough offers to where you find that person that will accept 20,000. Then the only part of sales is getting them to like you and trust you enough to actually sign a contract, right? Because have you ever really negotiated on a land deal, right? Like you're not going to convince someone to sell for 10 grand less than they want.
But they do need to trust you. But also, there's I'm talking about belief and confidence so much is, how is a seller going to believe in you if you don't even believe in yourself talking to them?
Yeah.
And so the rapport is, wow, this guy, like, he knows what he's talking about. He actually has a belief he can get this done.
Right.
It's what it is.
And that's what a lot of sellers will sign with you over different people. And this is why Jackson and I did really well starting out, is a lot of people, especially these bigger companies or big corporations, are going to have VAs try to close their deals, or they're going to have certain acquisition managers. Anytime we were getting on the phone with a mail out, anytime we were getting on the phone with a hot lead, it was Jackson or it was myself on every single deal for about the first 2.5 years straight, pretty much. So when we're talking to a seller, let's say that seller's had 4 different conversations that week with different people. They're talking to a VA. They're talking to an acquisition manager that isn't that experienced. Then they talk to me, who's done 100,000 cold calls, and I've done 300 deals, and I explain to them the process. They feel confident selling to me because half of it is getting their price they want. Half of it is feeling comfortable with the person that they're selling the deal to. We've been on the other side. We've sold land. We've sold property. Another thing is they just want reassurance that
they want the
not going to get not that you can't scam when you're buying a property, but a lot of sellers are worried about being scammed. They're worried about giving their property to someone that's not going to pay them out. Yep. So half of it is making them feel reassured and comfortable with working with you, which you can get done on that phone call when you're talking to them.
Yeah, big thing too. So I just thought of this as you mentioned it, is so many people are scared to get started. Guys, 80% of the time when people call about their property, they're in another country and barely speak English. So if you speak good English, you're already in the top 20% of people they talk to. Like if that doesn't give you enough confidence, right? Like they're getting cold called by people that don't even, that are literally in other countries, it's middle of the night, they don't speak English, right? So that's your competition a lot of the times, right? So you doing it yourself is gonna put you over, even the big companies are getting called by people in other countries, right? So that's the first thing. And then we're probably gonna talk more about sales later, but just to give there's not some big extensive sales script, right? You get on the phone. What I like to do is I take that information I got from the realtor. And so first of all, I build rapport 30, 45 seconds, right? Where are you from? Make sure they remember your name. Call them by their name. Oh, you're from Michigan? Awesome, my aunt's from Michigan, blah, 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 right? Talk to them, make them like you a little bit, right? After they like you, you want to show them that you know more about the property than they do, right? Which you should because you talked to agents before, right? So I'll say, yeah, a lot of the developments going up here, like the cost to build's actually gone up a little bit, but it still works because of this, this, and this. It doesn't look like your property is wetlands. If there's wetlands, we'd have to mitigate that, and it would cost us X amount. It doesn't look like there's wildlife on it. If there's a protected tortoise, it would cost us X amount.
Now seller says, boom, this guy knows what he's talking about.
And again, I don't know any of this. I'm just saying exactly what the realtor told me, and I wrote it down, because what happens now is they like me, and they know I know more about the property than them, right? So if they want to sell, which they already told me they did in the beginning of the call, they want to sell, they like me, so they trust me, and they know I know more about the property than them. So be careful with this and don't be a bad person, right? Which we always keep our margins tight, and that's why they trust us and like us. But my price is the price, right? If they truly want to sell, they know I know more than them, so they're not going to fight me on price. They're not going to tell, if I tell them it's worth 50, they're not going to tell me it's worth 100 because they know I know more about the property than them and they like me, right? So that's how I structure all the calls. But again, guys, please be ethical. Don't sit there and try to convince, get someone to trust you and then lowball them, right? We'll always come in at a price that's fair to them, fair to us, to where we can make good money, but still get it to the builder. And a fair assignment fee, right? So that's basically kind of how we structure all of our sales calls.
Yeah. So, by the way, I don't call it sales. I call it acquisitions. 'Cause You're not
Acquisition,
selling
You're not selling
anything.
it. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you this: you are selling yourself. That's what
Right.
I found. So, let's break down more about finding a builder, just like straight up. So, obviously, Land Atlas is a paid way to do it.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, you can use X Leads too, and just this is way dumber,
Yeah.
way more manual. But just go to the cash sales. You don't even need X Leads. If you have just a software, just look up cash sales on land, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and 90%
it's
of
just-
90% of land will be cash sales. So basically any sale of land, but even further than that would just be the newly built houses, right?
And to be fair, you can just Google
Yeah.
the person who bought it, and if you can't Google the LLC or company, they're probably not a big enough builder. To
Right.
be fair,
Right.
like I mean, guys, I'm just being honest. One of my first land deals was in Port St. Lucie, and I'm doing my marketing, cold calling. I have a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like a teenager. I'm like, a lot. Okay. So I pull up cash sales, and there's this like Holiday Builders bought all
Yeah.
these. I'm like, hey, do you guys have an acquisitions department? Yeah, we do. Cool. I just locked this up for $5,000. 20. Done.
Right.
Like guys, I was a dumb 18, 19-year-old kid, but all I did was just, okay, let's look at people buying land for cash and see if they want to buy any more. This is wholesaling.
You can
guys.
dumb it down even further too, to where it's like, okay, I'm in Port St. Lucie. I like, there's a lot of yellow dots on Zillow in Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
I go to Google, Port St. Lucie spec home builders. It's gonna give you a list with phone numbers. Call the list, right? And that's kind of how simple it is again. And like people don't believe, like that's literally all it is, right?
It is.
And again, you don't need this big extensive buyers list. And a lot of the times too, like just knowing kind of the ballpark price, if you get a deal beneath that, right? Again, $10,000 Rolex or $30,000 Rolex, I have it $10,000, $15,000, and there's a bunch of people that want to buy Rolexes, I'm going to make money on it, right? So just have your ballpark price in mind when you get into the market, and then have builders that you know are going to be looking for the deal as soon as you get it done, right? Another huge thing, especially if you're first starting, is, which again, you can join paid ones, you can join free ones, whatever it may be, but community is huge for the first deal, which a lot of people mess up on, because I would say from our community itself, probably 75 to 80% of all deals are going to be, or their first deals are going to be joint venture partnership deals, right?
Yep.
Because like if Carson was a beginner and had never done a deal before, he joins a community, I have a phone call with Carson. Hey Carson, well I have these 10 builders, go find them a deal, we'll partner together, right? So he does the marketing, right? So he does all the work. He goes, hey, I know your builder will pay $100,000, I just got one at 80. Awesome, cool. I get to make $10,000 for making a group chat with someone I've already done 20 deals with. He gets to make $10,000 in a deal that he never would have done before, right? So this joint venture and this power of like a good community with this is huge, because the more successful people get, the more builders they have. So you almost get way more mentors because they want to help you, because like selfishly, they're getting paid more by doing these joint venture deals as your first couple deals.
Yeah, and if someone's teaching you wholesaling land and they don't want to JV with you, then
Right.
you're not doing the deals.
Right.
Like I scream from the rooftops. That's why I have the biggest school group in real estate.
Right.
If you got a land deal, send it to me, and I will sell it, and we can make a ton of money.
Right.
I love doing that. You the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fun.
Yeah, and it truly is like, it's very simple, right? So like we haven't done too many houses, done a handful, but like with the land deals, I can look at it on Zillow on my phone and I'll know in 30 seconds if it's a deal or not. Send one text, one email, contract signed on my phone. Everything with the deal is done as soon as I send the title work, right? So it's super, super simple. And what that JV deal is, again, it's joint venture. So if he had a seller at 80,000, I have a builder at 100,000, let's say we go 50-50, he would make 10,000, I would make 10,000.
I'll make it even easier.
Yeah.
So there's Jackson. There's me. I got a contract for 10K on this lot.
Yep.
And you have a builder to buy it for 40K.
Right.
Right? I don't have a buyer. I can't find a buyer, but you have the deal. What I'm going to do, say, yo, Jackson, you got any buyers? Yeah, duh. He doesn't want to sell me a $20,000 course. He wants to make like 15 grand on this.
Right.
He's going to sign a JV agreement. And this is very important. And this is why I only recommend you do a trusted person.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times, I don't know if you've seen it, someone, even the comments of this video, JV with me on land, bro. And it's like Tyler Johnson, 101, without a profile picture, and you JV with him, he steals your deal.
Right.
Guess what happens if Jackson decides to steal your deal and snake you?
Yeah.
There's going to be recordings. It's going to be all over the internet, and his reputation is ruined.
Well, that is the one thing is we only, and that is quite literally the only way to get kicked out of our paid community, right? So because of that, like Carson and I only, which I'm not going to sit here and talk about, promote, whatever, but we only partner with students in there, and we very much police it to where it's like if you do so, like
you specifically.
Yeah, just no. In general, though, I completely agree. I wouldn't JV in Facebook groups unless you talk to the person.
Be very careful.
Yeah.
If you do deal with me, I'll never snake you on the deal because my reputation. So if you're going to JV with somebody who has a lot to lose.
Right.
Okay. I have a lot more to lose on snaking out of 15 grand than anything else. But he would sign a JV agreement, basically saying we're going to split this 50-50. He gets the builder. Then from there, make 30 grand.
Yep.
You split it, 15K and 15K.
Right.
Literally simple as that. I think our socials are going to be on the bottom here.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm doing a video with them is not many land guys that are doing a lot of deals.
Yeah.
And so obviously I want to make this video because I do a lot of land deals. I mean, over $1 million a year doing land. Also, you make a lot of money doing land.
Yeah.
I think us combining together on the knowledge for land is just insane.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think also
exciting.
like even if you're doing houses right now, you probably get land leads and stuff like that. It's something that even if you don't make it your full-time thing, you just throw it in your business if you're already doing houses, right? Because it is significantly easier to actually do these transactions. Like it's easier to add in land if you're doing houses than add in houses if you're doing land, right? So if you're already doing it, like I definitely recommend shooting some campaigns out there because it definitely does work, right? So now we have exactly our buy box, right? We know what market we're in. We know what the builder's gonna pay, right? So a lot of these are not gonna be exact numbers because maybe your builder wants 2-acre lots, right? Maybe your builder wants small lots, right? So all of this will go based off of what your builder's looking for, right? So some ones that we typically use every single time is 0.2, so 1/4 acre to 1 acre. Sometimes we go up to 2. They've owned it for more than 5 years, right? Because if they just bought it a year ago, they're probably going to build on it, right? If they bought it 7 years ago and they haven't built on it yet, they're just sitting there paying property taxes, right? Next one is no corporation. So this lot is not in an LLC, right? It's under an individual's name or mixed, which means it's husband and wife, whatever, right? Also, we do trusts. Next will be obviously vacant land, but not landlocked. What this means is it has access to the street. You can build a home on it. And then these are variables that you can play with. I like to do them, but if your list is too small, maybe keep them out. Owns less than 3 lots, right? Because if they just own 2 properties, maybe they got it passed down to them. Maybe they were going to move here, but couldn't afford it. Whatever it may be.
They're not a savvy investor that owns 50 different lots.
Then out of state, right? So again, if your list is 10,000 people, because it's a huge market, we would like to throw in an out-of-state owner, which means they don't live in the same state as the property. Last one will be purchase price, right? So if my builder is going to pay $50,000, I want to make sure they paid less than $35,000. So I'm going to offer them $40,000, so then I can assure every person I make my offer to is making money on the deal.
And then why all these filters are important, guys, when we're dialing in our lead list is because we want to find a motivated seller that would have a reason to sell these properties. So if we're just reaching out to somebody that paid 200 grand for a property that's worth 50, we don't want to have a conversation with that person because they're not going to be most likely to sell for 30, right? But if we're talking to 300 different owners that paid 5 grand for a property that's now worth 100, we come in and offer them 90, they're making an $85,000 profit, we make our $10,000 fee, everybody wins.
The last one is you want to make sure it's off market,
Yes,
right? So not on the MLS.
That was it.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't want properties on the market. We're going off market properties.
That's what I was saying.
Right?
When I was saying motivated, that's what I was.
So off market.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to lose my mind over that.
And then the last thing, which I would definitely do on every list, is less than 50% wetlands, right? Because if a property is 100% wetlands, it's either too expensive for the filter or it's unbuildable.
And to give you guys an idea, we'll pop up a photo. Wetlands, we'll pull up a picture here where there's green trees on a property. That means there's no wetlands there, but where you see the gray kind of wet looking trees from the aerial, that's wetlands on a property.
Right.
That's, you don't want to, you can deal with them, but you got to be cheap.
And the one thing I'll say now with these lead lists is don't get too concerned, right? Like just plug all of this data into Land Atlas, put in your zip code, hit enter, right? You'll get all the properties that your builder will buy, right? When you pull that or export that list, it's going to give you like 150, 200 columns with all this data that is not important for your campaigns and stuff. Don't get stressed out if you're not super good with Excel, right? Just take that list, skip trace it, which means get the phone numbers. So now I have a lead list of all these I have my market, right? I have a good market, good zip code. Then I have a builder in that market that'll pay me $50,000 for everything. Now I have a list of every individual and mixed owner that owns the exact property I can sell for $50,000, right? That paid less than $35,000 or $40,000 on it, right?
One little thing I do on here is my buyers, usually I just go by zip code. So obviously, I use XLeads. You can use whatever software you want, but honestly, I go by zip code. That's how I do my searches. Zip code's always going to be by far the most important one on here.
Right.
And what I like to do is the price. I mean, I don't know how you guys do it, but I like to always max the price out. And this is usually going to be low crime areas too, get out of here, but max price is always going to be 200K for me, regardless of anything. Because if you do a zip code in an area, there might be like in Port St. Lucie or in like West Palm, gets rid of all the lots on the water. I mean, kind of a waste.
Right. Something else big to throw in, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I always go minimum, which again, it depends on your market. So like Bella Vista, Lehigh is super cheap, but minimum assessed value, I always make 5,000 because even in a market like Jacksonville, Orlando, the unbuildable properties are usually assessed at like $2,000. So it should remove the unbuildable properties. But the thing is when you remove landlocked and you remove wetlands and slope, you shouldn't have any unbuildable properties anyways. Right?
So minimum 5K. On top of that too, most softwares go off of the tax assessor. The tax assessor is at $1,000, it's probably bad.
Right.
And on XLeads, there's a remove active investor.
Okay.
It just looks at the mailing address and see if they're actively buying properties or whatever. No corporation's good. Some people think, okay, I'm gonna avoid trusts. Trusts are actually
Trusts
awesome.
are good. Trust mixed and individual.
Yeah, so if you see trust mix individual, make sure you do that on that too.
Maybe not for beginners, but like if a LLC's owned a lot for 5 years and owns less than 3 properties, I don't hate mailing to them, right? Skip tracing is not great for LLCs, but you can mail to them, right? So like, but again, like I like to dial the list in as much as possible because especially when you're beginning, you don't want to spend a ton of money on your lead list and stuff. So we might as well make the list as good as possible. So if I can pull one list, like, so if I don't have all these filters in, right? And I just do vacant land, lot size, and zip code, I might have 3,000 lots. Whereas this might be 700 lots, right? So I'd rather you pull 5 lists like this in 5 different markets of 700 than just pull 3,000 of every lead in one market, right? So niching down and dialing in these lists for the motivated people and doing it more times over and over again is gonna give you way more deals than just pulling a bulk list.
And if you're in an area like, I know you guys say statewide. Let's say you want to do Texas. You're gonna get killed. You do not have the amount of money to text all the land in Texas. So, I mean, we do, but most
so when we will do a statewide list, is we'll do it super niche. So
there you go.
I might do like if I was going to do Texas, which guys that would be a nightmare to pull. Like when we do like our Florida campaigns, to be like, how do you pull statewide? Is we go county by county, or we just circle like half the state and do it twice. But so like if I was going to do a Tennessee statewide campaign, which we've done and we've hit a 6-figure deal off this, is I would go Tennessee, 0.2 to 1 acres, owned 25 plus years. Not in a corporation. I might even do individual only, not even mixed, not landlocked, owns 2 properties or less. So they own this in their primary residence, out of state owner, and I would put like minimum assessed value,
we don't play with that.
80,000 to 300,000, right? So the assessed value would be 80,000 to 300,000, and they've owned it for 25 years. And then I might even do like purchase less than 50 grand. But when you do the whole state, you might get a list of 2,000 people, and it's all the people that have very expensive lots. They paid super cheap, and they don't own any other properties except for this and a primary residence, right? So that would be one way to just like super dial in your list if you're going statewide.
And then I know this is kind of stupid, but I always like to do equity.
Okay.
I've had a lot of land sellers that just have no equity because there's a judgment from child support for 20 years past. So equity is a little small. On top of that, on the XLeads, there's also an AI score we have. I'm not going to get too much into it, but basically, one of the big reasons for an AI is if the credit score drops, the AI score is pretty high. So if you do Texas, do a high AI score. There's a lot of softwares that have that too, but it goes off a credit score also, which is pretty big. But
that's cool.
Honestly, if you just pull a list of people that own land, that have equity, all these filters work for any software. It's going to work.
I will say, for those free people out there, you guys do have the luxury now of having AI. So you can actually get this data from the county appraiser, right? Like, and we have a student right now doing 150, 200 grand a month, and he still gets all of his data, which will probably be more accurate than any software could possibly be.
It's just more manual work.
It's a lot of manual work.
It's called the tax roll.
The tax roll, right?
Ask for a tax roll.
And then you can take that, plug it into AI to do your lists and your filtering. We have never done this, and I don't plan on ever doing it. But again, if you're super cheap for whatever reason, and you like to play defense, not offense, then you could, I guess, figure out how to use this.
And just so you guys know this, I don't know if you've ever looked, have you ever looked up yourself on cyberbackgroundchecks.com?
No.
Before this gets posted, look up yourself on there. Probably your cell phone number and where you live is on there right now. This is an insane thing. If you don't watch my stuff, cyberbackgroundchecks.com, there's a little thing on the bottom that says remove my info. Do it. I started getting a bunch of calls from wholesalers trying to sell deals. I'm like, how do you have my number? I'm pretty secret. Cyber background checks had all of my information. So remove your info on the bottom, but after that, tax roll list, cyber background checks, just call you. I'm telling you, if you have no money, one of the best
you can
ways
get
to
the
do
list, or even like one step further, right? It's like, I don't want to spend money on marketing. I want to do my first deal for free. You can go on Zillow, you can click on the lot, you can go to cyber background, you go to True People Search, find these people, call them, and again, if you make 100 calls a day, you're doing 36,500 calls, even weekdays, right? You're doing 200 or 25,000 calls a year. Yeah. What are the odds you can't get one person to say yes, right? You get one to say yes every single month, $8,000 average deal, 8,400, 8,500, it's 100 grand a year, right?
There you go. And then another lead list is pretty good is, I know you're probably not okay with it, but if I go to his Instagram and just DM the people that like your posts and say, hey, I got buyers in Texas. If you got a deal, let me know. I'm just telling you, the people that like your post, they're the most engaged ones. They watch your crap. They're probably getting contracts.
Yeah.
Hey, if you ever have any deals in Arkansas, I got buyers. I'm telling you right now, the JV DMing part, you can get JVs deals, even your groups and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, it works. My followers, you can literally just DM them, say, hey, I got a lot of land buyers, let's JV.
Right. And
there's so many ways to get deals.
A lot of people, again, guys, this is not something that's complex, not difficult to do.
Just copy and paste these filters into the software. That's it. It takes two seconds.
Now we got our lead list, right? Skip tracing is going to be part of your lead list, right? You just hit a button, it's going to give you phone numbers, right? That's what skip tracing is. It's just getting phone numbers for your leads. So now we have our market, right? I'm in a zip code. I have a builder that's going to pay $50,000, and I have the leads of all the sellers that I can sell their lot for $50,000, niche down, right? So now we're going to go ahead and get into the 3 forms of marketing. Maybe you want to do texting, I'll do mail, and Carson does cold callers.
And by the way, guys, this is a collaboration.
Yeah.
They have a software, I have a software. The way I look at it is it's tacos and pizza.
Right.
They both taste good.
Right.
They're both going to work.
Right.
Just FYI, it's like using a straight bar bicep curl versus using the dumbbells. They're both going to get you jacked.
Right.
So just FYI, use whatever you want.
Right.
My system, their system, it's all going to work. We're just trying to give as much free land value as possible here. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and I mean, probably same with you as well. Like, probably going to end up using both, right? They'll probably use you for texting, maybe us for CRM or builders, whatever it may be. But we both built it specific for our businesses and how we teach and stuff like that, because it's what we kind of always wanted out of a software that never had it, right?
I would probably say if you're land only, you definitely have an advantage there.
Yeah.
If you do houses and land, I'd probably give myself a little edge there.
Yeah.
But like, it really don't even matter. Like,
I mean, and this is the thing, and Carson and I think this is why we were able to scale our business so much, and you probably did the same thing, is if you're already doing deals, get them both, right? What are the odds these softwares, like, each software, if it makes you one extra deal a year, it pays for itself, right? So we have 6,500 builders on our. You could just go find one of your followers, right? DM, hey, I'll JV with you, search that market on Land Atlas, find one of the builders, sell their deal, just paid for itself, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's up, guys? Real quick before we continue on, if you guys do want extra additional support and you do want to work with us directly one-on-one, do partnership deals with us, do JV deals with us, join our community where a lot of our most successful people are doing, hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month, and all sorts of different people to partner with. You can go onto this website here, www.carsonandjackson.com, to see how to join our program. We do vet everybody that comes through and joins. But real quick, just want to touch on, we're doing our in-person mastermind actually in this warehouse that we're sitting in right now, where we're giving out 7 awards to people in our community that have now closed since the last mastermind, over $250,000 in assignment. This one, Cal, he travels all the time. This one, Kyler, did over $100,000 last month, which is pretty sick. And then he's got the $1 million.
I got, so these are the $1 million trophies. This is Grayson. He's 21 years old. He's actually done over $2 million now. And then this is Nick, who he also will be crossing 2 million here pretty soon. But yeah, like guys, if you want to join our program, again, we have a ton of free content and stuff out on the internet. So if you don't have the money, like by all means, enjoy our YouTube, subscribe. But if you guys do want to take this seriously, you guys do want more coaching,
be a part of these events,
you want to partner with hundreds of others doing the same thing, and you want our everything A to Z, how to set up your business, go ahead to carsonandjackson.com. You can go ahead and apply for a call to work with us.
Links down below as well.
Yep. Also, landatlas.ai if you guys do want the access to the builders and your CRM and everything like that.
Back to the video.
Before we go ahead and jump into all this, just to give like an introduction to each. So our business itself, we did basically identical numbers between SMS, direct mail, and cold callers as far as revenue and profit, right? So they both were like split. So when people are like, what do you start with? What do you do here? What do you do here? all three work, and all three work very well. And I've seen beginners start with all three. They all work very, very well. And there's not one that's better than the other. It's just different ways of getting in front of people. Yep. So texting is going to be the way to get in front of the most people as quickly as possible. Mail, you're going to get in front of people that don't use their phone, or the people that don't answer these messages. Cold callers is going to be the landlines, the people that answer their phone. So all of them work. And this is another huge question I get. Do you text the leads that you cold call? Do you mail to the leads that you text? Yes. If we have a good list, we're sending all three forms of marketing.
So what's really funny is I think we went to high school like 40 minutes from each other.
Yeah.
And I know you guys, do you watch my stuff when you were first getting started wholesaling?
For the mail stuff, yeah.
For the mail, so like basically, it's like this is what I call pizza. My pizza might be a little different. It's
right.
The same. So the reason I'm saying is, this is the reason why we're collabing so well is like, you probably don't watch my early stuff, but I've shown this, you've definitely not seen this video. But do you watch my entire 6-hour video I just dropped?
No, I didn't.
Not. Okay, first thing I said, and this is hilarious that you wrote this. We have over 80,000 people in my free school group, right? Again, I'm not pushing, I'm just telling you, I have 80,000 people. And I have over 1,000 people that post every single year, got my first deal.
Right.
This is hilarious. 80% of those people that post, Zach changed my life, got their first deal from this, this, or that.
Right.
80% of them. Now, direct mail, I talk about sticky notes on houses,
right.
But 80% of them got their first deal from these three things.
And the rest are probably free method through agents.
But it's the truth.
Right.
And what's funny is I make millions of dollars wholesaling houses, and I came up to this. You guys make millions of dollars wholesaling land, and you came up the same exact
And the
truth.
crazy thing with land is, I just want to touch on this because I know this does work in houses, and there are people doing houses at a high level that are crushing it with pay-per-click, crushing it with Facebook ads, right? We have tried.
I hate it.
We have tried pay-per-click and we've tried Facebook ads. Doesn't work with land,
What about
right?
PPL?
Well, because here,
gosh.
Yeah, dude, come on.
it doesn't. It's not a thing, guys.
It's cost per lead.
Yeah.
Cost per lead here, if you're crazy, $5 to $6. And you can scale that for millions.
On all of them. Well, direct mail will be a little more expensive,
Oh,
but your lead quality is way higher, right?
5
so
to
like
10x.
SMS, you can get in front of 50,000 people a month for what? On X leads, $500, 600, whatever it may be. Direct mail, right, is going to be about like 80 cents per mailer you send, but we actually send a 2-page mailer, right? So it's first page is an intro, second page is an actual contract.
I would say
right?
this for everyone watching, this is going to be your cheapest and your easiest intro into getting marketing.
Yep. And then cold callers. So cold callers, they're about $900 per caller. They'll bring you about 5 to 7 leads if they're set up correctly per day. And again, so 12 grand for the year. One deal, because cold call deals are bigger profit. And Carson was running, 35 cold callers for 6 months.
So we'll break it down when we each go through. So let's have Zach first go through SMS.
I say this in this way possible. There's not one person in the wholesale space that has more texting going through them than me. Right. I'm just telling you the truth. I own the largest text blasting software in the wholesaling game by the amount of texts. But okay, let's break this down. SMS text blasting. I use xleads.com. You can use whatever software you want. But by the way, I'll just tell you a dirty truth. Most of them all go through Twilio. Just tell you the truth. But xleads.com is what I use. Now, but there's 2 paths to do this. It's 1 penny per text. Okay? Now, on average, I would tell you, if you're starting out, I would send 500 per day for 25 days. That is a lot.
12,500. And then what we typically see, I'm curious for your thoughts, is we see a 10% response.
Yeah.
So that's going to give 1,250 leads.
Some math here.
And I'm curious if you see the same response rate, but.
FSU 1, UF 0. Okay, 12,500. That's not a lot, but that's plenty for you to really just get a grasp of what it is. That would cost you, I believe, $125.
Right. Yep.
And that is I'm not telling you to spend a lot of money. This is not a lot of money.
Right.
This is $200 with all that, with everything together. Pretty simple. We could add a 0 to this and start getting real hot and heavy, but I'm not trying to go nuts. Now, when you're looking to make a system like this, I'm just going to bring this one out.
Yep.
Because I'm curious on your system too. Here's my system. I'm going to show you what I recommend versus what I do. So what I would recommend, and I'm genuinely curious how you guys look at it too, because it's probably a little different, but it don't matter. What I do is I do what I call a double whammy text. My biggest issue with the carriers is when you send a cold text, deliverability rates are going to be 70 to 80%,
Right.
depending on what you're doing. I'm close to about 95% deliverability by doing a double whammy. So double whammy is going to be 2 different texts.
Initial.
Text number 1 is, hey Sue, this works for land for some reason. Just drove by, saw someone, I know this is so bad, someone put something there. Got time to chat. I know it sounds crazy, but like, hey, just drove by the lot, saw someone put something there. Got time to chat? And someone could literally just put a leaf on it, someone could put something. What's going on? Oh my gosh! Yeah. I was driving by, and then you can just basically go on the phone or just driving by, was looking to acquire lots. So this is what I actually did you guys were here in Florida in the winter, right?
Yeah.
And they had that snap.
Yep.
Hey, like I'm just driving by looking to acquire lots, man. This cold freeze has been bad on the grass for lots. I'm looking to acquire lots, and I'm just always worried about, wetlands and stuff like that. We're like, why are you talking about wetlands? So, talking about like grass and trees and everything. I mean, how's everything holding up with that? I'm looking to acquire lots. So just curious what's going on with you. I'm just looking to buy houses. This has a 90 to 95% deliverability rate for me, and it works like crazy because when you're texting, especially you do A2P and all this stuff, it's the number 1 indicator if you're spam likely is going to be your reply rate.
Right.
This has extremely high reply rate. Now, you can always say, hey, I saw your land's on fire. I mean, of course you're gonna get a higher response rate, but this is the hardest you can push without getting in trouble.
Yeah, and guys, the thing about this too is keep in mind, you're still trying to make a deal on this, so don't, which obviously never do this with anything you do, but don't lie to these people blatantly, right? Like, don't, hey, your lot's on fire, then they call you and they're like, whoa, I was just kidding, I wanted to get you to answer, right? How can you make a deal out of that, right? So like back to your point, like
my house one's, hey, I just drove by your house, something looked off.
Right.
Hey, just drove by the lot, something looked off. You can put whatever you want.
Yep.
I like something looked off a lot, but basically how it is you send the text, you try to get the reply, you reply back, and then from there, you gauge, do they want to sell? And then if it is a no, I just don't talk to them. If it's a yes, goes on a call, then we go to acquisitions.
Okay.
I mean, that's my system.
So we, like, very transparent to everyone watching this. My favorite's mail, Carson's favorite's cold calling. We do show texting. We kind of got out of texting a little bit.
Yeah.
We started out only texting. We've always, we've kind of transitioned more as we've grown and stuff to kind of stay out of the gray a little bit. So texting does scare me, and that's why I wanted you to talk about it, because
coffee versus fast cash offer.
Right.
That dropped last year, changed everything. Making a call or a message to offer to buy somebody's property is not telephone solicitation. It is not against the DNC. Look up coffee versus fast cash offer. Eric Trotman, he's the biggest, baddest TCPA lawyer. Showed the case law, showed it, and this is why since that case happened, the amount of texting on X Leads has spiked dramatically.
Yep.
So
anyways, I'm not an attorney. I'm not an attorney. Anything I say, do your own research, stuff like that. But what we like to do with texting is we actually like to do even more volume, right? So we recommend 2,000 texts a day minimum, right? And with this, right, we're either getting a price out of them immediately or sending an offer immediately.
Directly from the buy box.
So I used to do an ROS texting,
right?
Which I still kind of do, but you guys used to do my ROS postcard.
Yeah.
But basically it's like, hey, I want to give you
Yep, that's what we used to do on the postcard.
$30,221.20 for address.
And this is if you have a builder buy box at 40K, guys. So
and then I put
you're making $9,800.
Yeah. So
and what's fascinating is I used to go on the estimated value.
Yeah.
And then just multiply 0.8. But if you have a buy box at 50, put it at 30. Say I want to give you, and make sure you do it by the decimal point.
Right.
I want to give you this for the property thoughts.
Right.
That works too.
Yeah. So that's because It depends on your lead list, right? If I'm doing a statewide list, I can't do offers. But back to our point, like where we're at right now with this specific campaign we're talking about, right? So I have my market, and now I have my market and I have my price, right? So I can sell any of these lots for 50K. All these people paid less than 35K. I'm gonna just text them all. Hey, I can give you $40,000 for 123 Main Street. Are you interested?
And then now keep breaking it down.
So if I send 2,000 texts, I'm going to get 11% response rate. I have 220 people that answer. I just need one of those 200 people to say yes to make $10,000, right? So I'm actually not spending a ton of time. I'm not calling these people. And the other way I do it is, hey, I'm looking to purchase more property in your area. I'm looking to acquire lots in your area. I'm interested in 123 Main Street. Do you have a price in mind, right? I'll get 200 responses. I just look at the responses and look for the person that says 35,000, 40,000, 25,000, whatever. And if they ask too much or they say, stop texting me, I do not contact them. So that means the next time I send this campaign, the people that aren't interested or want way too much money
your list gets
aren't in the campaign.
smaller and smaller and smaller, but it gets more dialed, and you can make deals off of the same list over and over and over again. And one thing I want to touch on too is somebody will tell me, hey, I think my list is washed. I've ran it 3 times and I've had it for 3 weeks, and it's a list of 3,000 properties in a hot area. And I'm like, I'll give you a story about if your list is washed or ran through or you can't make any deals out of your list anymore. Is we pulled one list in a certain area of Florida. I won't say the area. And we pulled one list. I mean, I will say the area. It was in Okeechobee, Florida. We pulled one list of 1,745 properties, something like that. We ran that list for 13 months straight and made like 94 deals off of that one list of 1,700 that we continually hit over and over and over again. So if you're 3 weeks into a list, you're 3 months into a list, and you tell me that it's ran through or washed, I promise you there are a lot more deals to be made. And when he's saying you clear out your list, you do not contact the people that say F off, that say they're not interested, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
and you can keep making deals from all of those people.
Don't text people on the DNC list. Right? Yeah. To protect yourself, right?
Do whatever you want.
Well, again, not an attorney, not a lawyer.
Fast cash offer.
Yeah.
I will tell you this too. I like to do the Sprite Coca-Cola thing. So Coca-Cola owns Sprite, Powerade, all these companies. So what I like to do, this is another niche on texting that works really well. I always use my female virtual assistants' names.
Yeah, we do too.
So, hey, this is Mary. Hey, this is Sarah. I'm telling you, saying that this is female name has about 5% better reply rate. It's crazy. The last thing on texting though is, I'll tell you this. You can also do AI. So Xleads does have an AI replier on there that is compliant because they replied back. So basically, you send an SMS text, they reply back. The AI determines if they're interested or not. Then from there, it goes into your CRM or no, they're not interested. If you're high volume, it's like $150. You get unlimited amount of that. It's plugged in. It's pretty cool. But that's, and at the end of this, I'm going to show how I do it because I'm curious how you do it. I just don't SMS a list and direct it. I have this whole system in every single
Which
market.
we've done. I
always
like
curve it over.
Because what the most ideal way to do things, and this is how we were doing it when we were sending our most marketing, we give it to cold callers and SMS first, right? So the people that the cold callers, because every time the cold callers make a call, they're going to bucket it, right? This is a lead, they're not interested, wrong phone number,
Same way
did not
we're doing
answer,
it for the
right?
text.
So when they're getting through all these leads, we pull that list out, and the people that didn't answer the phone or said wrong number, I'm going to take that list and I'm going to mail to them, right? Because mail's more expensive. So I just want the people that everybody, like realistically, most skip tracing is marginally similar. So if the phone number is wrong for our cold caller, it's probably wrong for everyone else. I want to mail to those people, right? Same thing with texting, right? If you texted a list 10 times, they don't answer, I pull out the people that have never answered because they don't answer anybody, and then I'm going to mail to them, right? And this used to be a nightmare to do. Now with Claude and AI, like you could probably do all this in 10 minutes.
And
right?
what's crazy about breaking down the numbers and how much it actually costs to text is, guys, keep in mind our average profit per deal is $8,400.
Right.
Yours probably even a little higher with the stuff you're doing, I'm sure.
Houses,
Land,
probably
yeah.
25 per wholesale.
Yeah,
maybe
so
30.
$25,000 per deal. Ours is
Probate's
$8,400.
higher.
So at a 10% response rate for $100, you're getting 1,250 responses you can go through. You make one deal, that's an 80 times ROI.
Right.
And with the AI texting, you don't have any VAs. Makes it a million times cheaper.
Right.
And so our ROI on average for the texting with our system was 37x. So we typically would spend about $1,500 a month on texting and get back about $55,000 every single month just from that channel.
Okay, so then direct mail. So I have probably quite literally sent, you probably have too, I've sent over 1 million mailers, give or take. Like we still, we don't send as much mail anymore, right? And
You're talking about per year?
Yeah, give or take, I'd say. Like I probably, over 3 years, definitely, we were probably what, 45 to 50,000 a month for 2 years.
We probably sent about 400,000.
Well, I'm different because I used to, every high equity in the city, they all get mail, right?
Okay.
I mean, even right now, that's what we do.
Yeah,
but,
so, but anyway, like long story short, like we've made millions with direct mail. Direct mail is what I'm best at, for sure. So mail is by far my favorite because with mail you don't really work. You send your list and then you just answer your phone.
It's the easiest deals ever.
And like for
It's
an
actually
example,
crazy.
we haven't been sending we've been working on a lot of stuff. We haven't sent mail in probably 4 or 5 months. We've done 4 deals this month off of direct mail campaigns we sent in 2023.
Yeah, I got an email 2
2024.
days ago from a list that he mailed out 2 years ago. Hey, I want to sell this property. Is your offer still valid?
That's the
well,
beauty
yeah,
of-
we're buying, but my offer's lower than it was 2 years ago.
Mail, what happens with this a lot of the times is they will store the letters away. So you get immediate return, yes. But
Mine are always on the fridge.
yeah.
Because we actually physically go to the house. They literally
Okay.
keep the postcard on the fridge, just waiting.
Yeah. So with mail, what you're going to do is you have the same list, right? 800 properties. And you're going to take that list. You're going to give them each a unique reference number, right? And you're going to
Interesting.
So every single one has a unique reference number. And the reason we did this, and this was such a nightmare for us for so long, and that's why that was the main reason that we made Land Atlas, right? Is the second you pull your list, if I want to send it mail, it automatically puts a reference number. It gives you the option to put an offer, right? So you can either use our formula for putting an offer, or again, if you have a builder at 50, offer them $41,227, right? And 27 cents, right? 27 for whatever reason is people's favorite number. We did a lot of research on this before doing our mail. Anyways, then you push it to your CRM. So in your CRM, you're gonna have all your seller leads, right? Above the seller leads, you have this app on your phone. You have your mail. All the leads, the mail you just sent goes into your mail portion. So
you can just search this reference number.
So if somebody calls me when they call in, hey, what's your reference number? AB200. I look up AB200. Oh, awesome. I'm talking to Zach. I offered you $20,000 for XYZ. Do you want to sell? Right? So I'm on speaker. Before there was no way. I'd have to ask them what the offer was. And
they could come up with their own price. You could lose money on the deal because they make their own price.
So when long story short, you're going to send this introduction letter and a contract with an offer, right? 80 cents per. So for 800 of them would be $600, call it, right? So you send $600. These people get mail to their front door with a contract and an offer for $41,000. Mind you, they all paid $35,000 or less, right? They're then going to call you back. They're going to email you, or they're going to mail it back signed, right? So I can't tell you, probably over half the mail deals you're going to do, they're going to send a picture of it signed to your email or mail it back to you.
You'll literally never even speak to them. When we were living in Miami, every other day we would go down. We lived in a condo building where the mail was down in the lobby. We'd walk past the lobby, go check the mail every single morning. It was like Christmas. Every other day, pretty much, we would have a deal. Typically in Lee County, we were doing a lot of deals with mail over there. And we were having a deal that was $5,000 to $10,000 every other day from mail we never spoke to. They just mailed it back to our condo.
Right.
I would add one thing though. This is for houses.
Yeah.
This is for land too. The most valuable thing with direct mail that no one talks about is the return mail.
Yep.
Yeah.
That, if you try to send it and it goes nowhere, that's someone you need to call, text, and put on a crazy follow-up.
Because yes, so what he's talking about is, let's say I send out a mail list of 1,000 properties. There's going to be 170 that you can't mail to that get returned. It's the wrong address and stuff like that. So there's those 170 properties. Not only can nobody reach out to them via cold call, via SMS, nobody can get a hold of them via direct mail either. Those are your hottest leads ever. The leads that are hard to get in contact with are always going to be your hottest leads, your biggest deals that you can ever find, because nobody else can reach out to.
It's kind of funny, is that's why we had the IDI. Right? So basically, return mail, IDI, boom, get in front of them right there.
Yeah, 100%. It's a good point to bring up.
So REI Print is who we use. I don't know if XLeads does.
XLeads has their own direct mail.
Okay. Yeah. Any of the mail company providers are going to be.
But your specific one goes to them, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they have to go separately to go. But anyways, XLeads, REI Print, whatever. You're going to upload your own template probably anyways, right?
What's funny is we have the same type of direct mail. I have an ROS postcard. He does the offer one. His is way more advanced. Mine's simpler because people are going to be simpler with houses. But no, it's...
I'll tell you, the ROS postcard that he did definitely works. That's where that Jacksonville deal, that was 160, 140 profit, whatever it was. So that was from that postcard.
So basically, a few key points I'll say in mail, right? So whoever you're using, whatever, it's going to be for the 2-page letter that we use, which we've tested everything. The 2-page letter converts like crazy. Introduction, make it look professional. Second one is actually a 1-page contract, right? You're going to autofill everything. You need reference numbers, right? These reference numbers are going to be able to track it, right? So when you get to Land Atlas, all you ask them when they call in, what's your reference number? You can find that whole lead profile and your offer, and you can push it to your CRM. You can send a contract in 2 buttons, right? So
and you better answer your phone, because these are these are probably the hottest leads you're going to get.
I didn't mean it hot leads like that, but as far as texting, you're going to text everyone. With mail, you either want to mail your niche markets, like a golf course neighborhood. You don't want to mail as much because it is more expensive, right? So of that 800, maybe I say people that have owned it for 15 or more years, and I get 400 leads, and it costs me $270, $300 to send out, right? But the biggest thing with this, and this is why we did so well with mail, I really think, is we answer the phone. So I can't tell you how. I want an AI receptionist
because you don't get 1,300 leads for $100 with this.
So So we would not, this is what separated us with mail and probably still does, is every small company, usually like they don't answer their phone and they mess up their offers. And then every big company hires someone in the Philippines to answer their calls. They go straight to voicemail or they set up an AI receptionist or a reception company. You need to answer yourself. These are the hottest leads ever. We were getting 3 mail calls a day. At least one of them was a deal. One of them was telling me my offer was too low and one tried to negotiate, right? But these are the easiest deals you'll ever make and it's not even close.
Hottest leads you're ever going to deal with. You better answer that phone.
Oh, by the way, put this in your mind. That person that once they decide they want to sell their piece of land, they now have 4 postcards.
Right.
They're going to call 1, 2, and 3, and you're the only guy that picked up. You need to have this mentality. I used to get up at 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
I used to get calls.
Yep.
Well, we lived in Scottsdale, so literally 4 a.m. with 7 Eastern.
You have to.
But the mail, with the mail, keep in mind again, let's say I sent 400 mailers for $550, and you have the offer on it, right? You might get 4 or 5 phone calls from that. It's not a lot of volume, right? But they already know the offer. So someone that knows the offer paid less than you're giving them, and you're giving them a true
And
good,
they most likely picked a day where they're motivated or there was something sparking
And-
their interest to want to call you.
and you gave them a good offer, right? Like by no means are you ripping them off if your builder's paying 50 and you're at 41, right? Like they get less than that on the market odds are, right? So anyways, they see this letter, they see your introduction letter, and then they decide to call you, right? These leads are hot, right? So even if you only get 5 calls off of 500 or 7 calls, right? Odds are 1, 2 of those is going to be a deals. It depends because everyone always asks, how many mailers do I have to send for a deal? And there's no way to track this because everyone's different with their offers. If I have a builder at 100,000 and I offer 97.5, I'm going to get a ton of callbacks and a ton of deals. If I offer 75, I might make 1 deal, but I might make more money, right? So
What's your ROI on the mail for you?
It's all time probably 15.
15x.
Wow.
We're at like 7 to 10x.
I think it was like 12.
Yeah,
I think it was like
because
12.
our last year wasn't
Interesting.
as big. Like
Yeah.
2024, we sent way more mail and we did smaller deals.
Well, to be fair, if
2023
I was
was bigger.
niched down, it'd be better.
Yeah.
But if I just do any high equity, it's at minimum 7 to 10. And so the way think about that. At minimum, 5x if you suck.
Yeah.
So if you make on average, what's the average one? About, call it 12 grand for you, divide by 5, 2 to 3 grand probably get a deal.
Right. Yeah.
So how many mail? I don't know anyone that's dropped 10 grand in direct mail out of 80,000 people that hasn't gotten a deal.
Yeah, I will say that our average cost, so keep in mind, this is what we messed this up massively in 2024. 2023, we crushed with mail because I was just sending statewide campaigns with kind of low offers, and it was just like, our average mail deal in 2023 was probably 25 grand,
big,
30 grand. Like we hit 3 or 4 6-figure deals off of mail that year. 2024, I started to go like, all right, cool, we have this builder in Lehigh that's going to pick up these lots for 25. So I'd send mail at 20. We'd negotiate, settle at like a $3,000 average. But our average mail deal was costing us about, between our team and our assistant and our acquisition managers, it was like $1,800 per deal. So if you're doing cheap deals and your average deal is $2,500, you're not making money. If your average deal size is 25 grand, then you're making a ton of money, right? So like that was the biggest thing with mail is you want to be targeting expensive lots, whether it's utilities, whether it's minimum $50,000.
And then especially with mail, another thing you can do is if you're niche down and you're looking to get big deals is you can set up something that's like a drip campaign. So rather than just sending out this mail list one time, let's say you have a super hot area of $1 million properties and you're trying to hit a $100,000 deal. One of those luxury deals is you can mail to that list and set up with a company like REI Printer with X Leads. I'm sure you can do the same thing. And you can send 3 or 4 times to the same list over the course of 3 or 4 months or over the course of a year. You can make sure that your postcards go out this month, 3 months from now, 3 months from now, 3 months from now, and you can also have them be different letters or postcards. One could be a letter, one could be a postcard from your company, one could be a check, a fake check that has, the price on it. Some people do that as well. Like
I'm
you can
curious
continually follow up with the mail campaigns.
Your
also.
thoughts on this, but the craziest thing with mail that I realized is lists that work, there is no diminishing return. So like if we send a campaign of 4,000 properties and we made 6 deals and we made 40 grand on the campaign, I would literally send the same exact mailer, bump my offer $250 and send it 3 weeks later, and we would still make 6 deals. And like, I'm not gonna say do it 100 times, but we ran it multiple times over with the same list, wait a month, do it again, wait a month, do it again. We probably mailed Lehigh duplexes 15 times.
And
right?
made more every time.
And
house is gonna be a little different,
right,
but like we'd always give the offer and we would say, okay, that's the offer if everything's perfect. The lot's cleared, it's perfectly done. Oh, there's a couple issues? I don't know. Like for houses, it's just like, hey, we would give this to you right now for 80 grand if it's updated, but we're assuming it's updated, so we're trying to give you the most. I'm trying to vouch for you.
And just to like give as much game as possible with this is, the offers are great, right? But you don't have to send offers. If you're doing like if you want to do a Cape Coral list, the properties on the water are valued differently than a property that's not, right? Whatever, right? So you can do a neutral letter, which is just a letter that says basically call in for your offer. A lot more people will call in, right? But then you're gonna have to comp and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. And then something else that's huge is offer ranges. So we've done very well with this, right? So let's say I'm doing again, big example, whatever. But Cape Coral, if I might include properties that have utilities and ones that don't have utilities, right? So the ones north to Cape Coral lots, whatever, they sell for like 65, 70 grand right now. And the normal lots sell for about 35, 40, right? So I might send offer letters to all these properties and say, hey, I'm paying 35,000 to 80,000 right now, right?
That's true.
Call if you're interested, right? Then the people with the lots worth 40 grand are gonna call in thinking they might get 80. I explain to them for 30 minutes, whatever it takes, why their property isn't worth 80, it's worth 35. And you actually basically, you can get someone to sign that wouldn't have just called you if you sent them an offer letter.
Get more callbacks from the offer
right?
range.
So the offer ranges, you'll still get a lot of callbacks, but they're still not like, they're still reasonably priced, but then also you might be able to get a big deal in there also. So that's something that we've had success with. Realistically, my favorite is offer letters, not even close. I think I even prefer neutrals to offer ranges, but it does work.
Okay, so with me real quick.
Yep.
I'm going to throw this at you
Yep.
because I just want your raw reaction.
Yep.
I just got an offer. Okay, I can't do that price. Who are you? What do you want? Those calls sometimes come in hot.
Yeah, so hey,
So let's do a demo right now.
Hey, this is Jackson.
Hello, hey, I just got a offer, a letter. What's going on here? What do you want?
Awesome, yeah, we're buying a ton of properties right now. What's your reference number? It should be in the top left-hand corner.
Interesting. Yeah, it's blah, 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 blah.
And as I'm doing that, you're on speaker, I'm on Land Atlas.
That's true.
Right?
Okay.
Especially with those guys, we go straight to the point.
I'll do 60,000. You have it for 40. I'll do it for 60.
Awesome. Again, I'm going to need that reference number. I can't pull you up without it, right? So then
Interesting.
I get the reference number, and then if I offered 40 there at 60, I'm like,
I
what?
like that because they don't have to get the address out.
Yeah, no, so like literally
I always have to say what's the address.
Yeah.
That's actually, I really like
The
that.
reference number is really nice. And then you can pull up all their data.
Yeah,
You know,
so
the
you just
person, you know,
import
the
your
address,
campaign
you know,
immediately, and then you just look
how
it
much
up.
you
I think I have to
offered
pay
and-
you a penny per one on next leads now.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Okay.
But like it's, and then you just get them to give the address, and then it's like, if you want 60,000, it's like, well,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's say it's buy boxes 50, yours at 30, I say 60. How are you getting the net on price on that call?
Awesome. Yeah, no worries at all. Let me, so first thing, maybe I messed it up, right? Like we do send a lot of mail, we're buying a ton of properties. Let me just get your reference number, like, let me get you pulled up here. Oh no, that 60,000, I'm just curious, like, is that just a number you had in mind because of what you paid for it? Or like, do you actually think it's worth that, right?
Carson offered me 60,000, this other wholesaler.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, let me pull your contract up. I bet he had $100 earnest money. I bet he could back out to the closing. I'm going to put down $5,000. I'll deposit it to the title company by the end of the day, and I'll close in 21 days, right? Because I'm a real buyer. You're going to go back, you're going to sign with him, he's going to back out on you.
And you called and spoke to Carson. Did he sound like he had $60,000?
No, I'm curious. Call Carson back. Ask for proof of funds, right? I'll send you whatever you need.
That.
I'll get you the contract by the end of the day. But when you sign with Carson, in 90 days from now, he can't find a buyer because it's not worth even close to 60. He's going to back out. You're going to run back to me, and this is today's price. My price is going to be $5,000, $10,000 less than, or we can get this closed in 21 days.
I like that. On top of that too, if you're actually doing these deals, say you just spit out 5 addresses. Say those are the past 5 properties I bought.
We just got this one for 38. We just got this one for 37.
Ask Carson the last 5 houses he's bought.
Yeah.
If you're a broke 18-year-old kid,
Yeah, something else huge,
It can happen.
which I love to give the sellers with this is more almost sales calls, but we have this PDF, and it's a 2-page PDF. And the first one is we go ahead and we put the address, looks super professional. It has an introduction, it has a chart. Selling to us for selling to realtors, and it basically explains how they're going to get more money working with us. Beneath it, it says your offer, huge across the bottom with your address, and then it says 3 comparable comps. So let's say I'm offering you $35,000, right? I'll have 3 lots above it, screenshot from Zillow. Well, this one actually sold for $36,000. Looks like a little more than yours. But after realtor commissions, they're only taking home about 92 to 94%. And then they have closing costs. So that even though they sold it for 33, they walk with 28.5. This one sold for 29,000 on this date, right? And you have the Zillow screenshot. This one only walked with 26. This one sold on this date for this much, right? I'm gonna get you 32,000, right? And
I like that.
So like, and just it takes 5 minutes to make the PDF. You have a template. We'd send it to any skeptical seller that we thought could turn into a deal. We wouldn't waste our time if it wasn't that. But just to kind of give them a real evaluation.
And when you have that conversation and these sellers trust you, even if they don't agree on the first time you speak with them, if you leave it off like that, you give them comps and they can think it over, a lot of them will come back in the next month, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months. Whenever they come back, you'll get the deal.
Yeah, huge thing too. And like between old mail we've sent out and doing this and referrals, Carson and I probably make, I would say 9 to 10 deals a month, and probably will for the next couple years from this. Is Every time I call the seller, again, between the two of us, easily 100,000, not conversations, but probably cold calls over the last 4 years. No matter what, even if we weren't even close on price, all right, you know what? Like, I say my number is Jackson Land Guy. Whenever you want to sell, I don't care if it's in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, please, all I ask is you call me first, right? And then rainy day hits, right? They need the money. They got to send their son to rehab. They need to pay for college, whatever it may be. They need the cash and they need it quickly. They're going to call you back, right? So if you don't agree on price day one, so many people, one, sometimes they're mean. Like, wholesalers will be mean to the seller if they don't get the price. But also, they don't, like, leave the conversation open, right? And you just want to imagine like you're fishing, right? You're just casting out 100 lines a day, like.
But the lines stay in the water.
Yeah. Eventually, you're going to start catching fish, right? So that's a big thing that I always recommend doing every time you make a cold call. No matter, even if you're way off on price, or if you ever know anyone that wants to sell, bring it to me, right? Like, and we get deals like that all the time.
Oh yeah. I mean, what I like to do is like, okay, you want 60, awesome. So if you've had the property on the market and it for 60 grand and someone offered that to you on the market, would you take it? Yes, I would. Awesome. Okay, well, how much do you think you would net?
Right.
Okay, so you'd really net what, like 48? I mean, I'm at 30. So you wanting 60 on a realtor's, you're really at 48. At that point, if you can get them from 60 to 48, then you can get them down to 30.
And then another thing you can say is, and also I know you want to list it at 60, however, there's 3 listings identical to yours that are listed at 52 right now.
So why would they take yours
let's take that
ever?
60 number and really take it down to 50. Because if you want to sell it on the market, you're selling it for 50.
This is
Now let's
acquisitions,
take the
yeah.
commission
Yeah, and then we're on the phone. It's like, oh, and that's the thing, right? Like, I got my phone pulled up right here. Like, so land's not really like houses. Like, when land drops, it drops. Like, I've seen properties go from 3 grand to 160, but I've also seen property goes from 160 to 100 grand in 6 months, right? So it looks like, oh, the S&P's down today. It looks like the market's going down, right? So, like, mind you, like, I know you're stuck paying these taxes, which you're just losing money on every year, but if this drops, like, I can't tell you how often they go sign with someone else that's not a real purchaser, not working with real builders, and they come back 6 months, a year later, and your lot is just absolutely tanked, right? Like, you look at Carabel, Florida, these lots were 115 grand. I just picked one up for 21,000, and he was happy to sell it at that, right? So, like, I'm telling you right now, like, I do this for a living. We're not going to make a ton of money on this deal, and you're getting a good number on this, right? And it's a good time to get out, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Dude,
Some sales tactics there.
I'm telling you, the first thing you gotta do when you answer direct mail, this is what I found. This is acquisitions, but it's also direct mail at the same time. Your motivated seller is going to decide to go with you for 3 specific reasons. And I'll write it down right here. I don't know if we're gonna erase this, but they sell based off of emotion, logic, or fear. Now, you have to go, I found 80% of sellers sell based on emotion. I'm sick of the taxes, I just want to get rid of this for cash. About 15% are based off of logic. Well, I saw a comp, Carson, that sold for this much. Then you have to answer that, or 5% fear, which is, my offer might not be the same.
And one more thing is, you know what's interesting with mail, which we have never really gotten from the other two? It happens almost every campaign, I would say, is for some reason, whenever we send a mail campaign, I feel like now, we get someone that either doesn't know they own it or it got inherited, and they, you know, like, that only happens with mail from my experience. So, and I don't know why that is, but we do get a lot of that where they're like, oh yeah, I forgot I just got this passed down. Like, I'll sell it.
I can talk about probates all day. But you got to figure out in a bucket, especially with any of these leads, are they logical, emotional, or a fear? Hey, we should buy cash. Well, no. Comps. Okay, now this is a logical guy. And if the logical guy, comps, he doesn't work, you just go off of fear. Well, go with somebody else. Because the logic guy also says, well, you know, this other guy offered me 60 grand. Okay, great. I buy it, but next week I probably won't. Oh, crap. He caught my bluff.
And also a good thing is, like we were talking about with the example of the listing on the market, when he says, I got an offer from Carson at 60, and say, like, I trust your word and everything, but I find it hard to believe considering there's 3 on the market for 52. Why wouldn't?
And read them the addresses, right? Hey, you got your.
Why wouldn't he purchase 623 Southwest Street that's listed for 52? Why wouldn't he purchase 621 that's listed for 53?
You don't tell the seller they're an idiot. You say, okay,
well,
the lot next door sold for 100. Let's pop it up. Oh, that's 7 acres. You're a quarter acre. But you know what? Thank you for explaining that to me. You're an idiot. No, you have to let them come to the conclusion.
And the biggest thing with this too, and I'm telling you the authenticity shows, is when you go into this with the mindset that you're helping everybody and you genuinely don't sit there and try to rip people off, they see that through the phone, right? Like, none of our deals ever do we go in with the intention of, I'm going to sit here and lowball this person and rip them off. It's always like, I'm going to give them a fair price. yeah, we're working really hard. We are going to make a middleman fee, right? Sometimes it ends up being bigger if it's a nice lot or something.
People think that there's going to be this stigma when you get a deal closed that we're the only ones winning and going to be happy in the transaction. We've done over 800 land deals. The buyer and the seller have been just as happy as us on every single deal that we've done. A seller will text us a paragraph. Thank you, that was the best process ever. I needed that 35 grand. Thank you so much for helping me do that in 30 days. That meant a lot to me.
Okay, wait. You guys make 100K on these land deals too. So
Yeah.
I'm huge on lowballing people, but I make 80, 90, 150 grand on a deal.
Yeah.
You make it 125, it's a lowball. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Still lowball.
Yeah.
But you can't
But
be
if
doing
it's
6-figure
10%, if
deals.
it's 10% of the property value, is that really a lowball?
That's the point.
Right.
That's the point. I'm just telling you.
Or if you do a value
Yeah.
add, right? So the
Yeah.
commercial deal, we went and signed a tenant before we sold it.
That's
right?
true.
So like there are things you can do, and also like a lot of our bigger deals, I will say, kind of happened on accident. So like that lot in Jacksonville, I thought we were terminating it, right? Just turned into a big deal.
We didn't know it was worth that
We
much.
had one in Bonita Springs. We got it for 165. Got a wetland survey, and the wetlands over there. So just for reference, we got the lot next door for 145, and then this one for 165.
Yeah.
The lot next door still hasn't sold. It's on the market. They've dropped it under like 190, right? There was a lot like 10 over that sold for 600. We got ours for 165. The wetlands came back, 40% clean?
33%.
33, so 66% wetlands.
Yeah.
We sold it next day for 275, right? If that property was 100% wetlands, as the one is next door, it's worth like 80 grand. And if it was 0% wetlands, it was worth like 600, right? So again, that's a different game. Like beginners, I wouldn't go getting wetland surveys by any means.
Yeah, no.
But like wetlands is definitely one of the levers you can pull in the niche markets and big deals.
All right.
Cold
Cool.
callers.
Yeah, so cold callers I'll jump into. And also for everybody watching, like it's not you hammering the phones and cold calling. That's
You
the
could
whole
though.
You could.
Hey,
You can.
Hey,
You can.
Hey, you could.
You can.
If you have a very low budget, you can dial and smile and dial.
But
all
make
day
sure you
long.
do the list part first, so you're not
Yeah,
just
yeah,
cold
yeah.
calling random properties and random owners. Like if you have a dialed-in list, absolutely cold call yourself.
You guys used to cold call in college, right?
Yes, but we would
No,
still.
we had cold callers actually.
Yeah, we had cold callers, and then we would cold call the hotter leads.
Yeah.
So the
Before
leads
you
that would come
hired
through
them,
here.
were you cold calling yourself?
texting
No,
to cold
texting
call.
we
would-
cold call
I went like
every
6
day.
grand in debt
It's
before a
fine.
deal.
We never
We were
really
paying
manually
14 cents per skip
Dang.
tracing.
Yeah.
So by the
Yeah.
way, guys, in college, it's kind of funny. I cold called 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for a year straight,
Yep.
about 20K a month in college.
Yep.
It was the best. But I don't recommend you do that. But then I hired VAs. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I regret everything I've done.
Saves you so much time.
But I will tell you this: if you want to start out, cold calling is not going to kill you.
Yeah,
And you'll get
absolutely.
really good on the phones.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to make this very clear: when you hire a VA, if you don't at least do a little bit of cold calling and you don't at least know any skills, you don't know if your VAs are doing good or not.
Right.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, get a little bit of cold calling under your belt, and then when you hire the VAs, it's going to be a lot better. So, yeah.
And obviously, this is why we help people do this type of stuff. Like, I'm not going to big promo it, but like, if you guys want to do it safely and have us help you set up your cold callers, we do have our community that helps you with that. But anyways, cold caller, setting up a cold caller. Here's how you can do it yourself. I've managed over 30 cold callers at one time. So
For like 6 months.
Batch Dialer said we were one of their biggest clients they've ever had. So we definitely know what we're doing with VAs. We've been doing it for about almost 5 years now. And with the cold callers, a couple things to keep in mind is they're going to be dialing through these lists that we just talked about on the last slide, on the last section there. So let's say we have a list of 10,000 properties. Rather than you hammering the dialer 3 lines at a time, it's a triple dialer that these VAs are calling on. And making, like every VA on average will make about 2,000 to 3,000 dials per day. That's not 2,000 to 3,000 connects. They're gonna have 100, 150 conversations every single day with people, and they're gonna submit through about 5 to 8 people as leads every single day into your CRM so that you can spend your time calling those 5 to 8 people and not having to do the 3,000 dials that the virtual assistants are doing.
So 3,000 dials for 5 to 8 leads?
Yeah, yeah. So let's say 3K dials.
And 5 to 8 leads.
I have to do, in my mind, it's always, I always go off of how, I mix house and land together.
Yeah.
But I do know that the volume.
And by the way, what a lead
It's about
is,
twice as good.
What a lead is, I don't know if he explained this.
Nope.
What a lead is on our script, we make sure that they own the property. They say they want to sell, and then our agent asks them 1 to 10, how motivated are you to sell? If it's over a 5, they come in as a lead, right? So this is different than a text response. This is a true lead. And then with this as well, like most like cold calling companies that run cold callers for people,
Yeah.
they're like, we've met with a ton, so we were trying to get them for our students. They're like, oh, we'll get you 2 or 3 leads a day, right? Like every good agent we've had has been over 5 leads a day, and we've had some over 10.
And I'll tell you where people go wrong with their virtual assistants and why they're not bringing in 8 leads per day. So number one, this is what you should be paying your virtual assistant, and I'll tell you where you can find them as well. We pay $4 an hour for VAs, and these are high quality VAs that are consistently bringing in 5 to 8 leads per day, every single business day for 4 years straight, and are happy to be on the team, extremely hardworking. They don't miss days off. They'll be happy if you find the right ones and give them a good work environment to work for $4 an hour. Next thing is dialer. It depends which dialer you're using if they include the phone numbers. Anywhere from about $150 a month. If you have a lot of licenses, you can negotiate that obviously, upwards to about $299 a month, depending on your dialing, depending on what you got included in there. But either way, should be about $900 a month, all in for a virtual assistant to dial for you every single day to bring in 5 to 8 leads every single day. And these are real leads. These aren't just a text back. This could be a deal. This is a motivated seller that's coming through that you can call and potentially close a deal that has an asking price or has a high motivation. So what you're gonna do when these leads come through is you're gonna see it in your CRM. Here's how you're gonna call them and attack that lead. Is it comes through, let's say your virtual assistant's name is Wendy. This was one of our virtual assistants. I know she watches some of our stuff. Shout out Wendy. Let's say a lead comes through and they're asking $10,000 in Lehigh Acres. I know I can sell half acres there for $20,000. I have a builder that'll pay $20,000. I immediately call this lead. It's speed to lead when these leads come in as a cold call lead. You need to treat them as that because if they answer the phone, that is your highest chance of an opportunity to make a deal on that lead. If you don't call them right away, some guy tomorrow could call them and make that deal. Some guy today could call them and make that deal. If they come in and they have a good asking price or they have a high motivation, you need to call them immediately because not only that, if they don't answer, if you wait 4 hours and they would have answered the phone if you called within 5 minutes, you may not ever be able to speak to that lead again. You would have just
the best leads don't answer most people.
You would have just lost 10 grand right there on the phone. So you need to call it immediately, and you're going to say, hey, my name is Carson. You just spoke to my assistant Wendy a few minutes ago about your property in Lehigh Acres. I'm the one that's actually interested in putting this deal together. I see you wanted $10,000. I'm very interested. Here's what we do. Here's what our company does. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not too far off. I'm going to cover the closing fees. I can actually do $9,500. And the reason why you're going to do it like that is if you have a layup deal is you don't want to seem too desperate. You don't want them to run off or go fish it around or fish for another property. You're not trying to be greedy for the extra $500. You don't care about that. You just don't want to seem too greedy. But that's how you call. It's just very call, straight to the point. You just spoke with my assistant. Here's what we do. Here's my offer. Boom, get the email, send the contract.
And then
but these leads are coming in all day long.
So where do you find and hire a VA? How do you hire one?
So where to find and hire a VA? There's a few different websites, cheaper and kind of more of a free version. I think you can do this for free, is go to Fiverr, fiverr.com.
The agents won't be as good here though.
Fiverr.
From our experience.
By the way, I have VAs. I'm paid $25, $30 an hour. Like in my work job, there's VAs can go all over the place. I will tell you this, when you're looking at Online Jobs PH, that's the reason I love OnlineJobs.ph is you can look at their English proficiency level. And all you have to do is just, I know this sounds stupid, but I always schedule a Zoom.
Oh, we do a mass Zoom with like
exactly
80
what
of
I
them.
was going to say.
80 of them.
Well, we onboarded 30 in a day.
I always do one at a time.
Oh no,
we put them all mass.
So I'll go over that right now.
That's crazy.
So first way, this is kind of cheaper. I think you can go on Fiverr
This is
for
like
free.
Squid Game.
You can find a virtual assistant on Fiverr for cheap. This is how we found our first couple. Fiverr, Upwork, same thing.
What
Upwork.com. We typically just do Philippines. I know some people do Egypt,
Colombia,
but we've always done Philippines. They've been great for us. And then OnlineJobs.ph. I know you mentioned it as well. This is where we're finding a lot of our talent now. I think it's $89 a month or something to post 3 job applications every single month. But what we do in the job app is I'm going to post. I'm looking for a cold caller that will make dials to bring in motivated land seller leads, explaining exactly what's happening, put the topics, real estate, cold calling, English speaking, put in what you're going to pay, $4 per hour. And then in my job post, this is exactly what I'm going to put. I'm going to put, here's exactly what I'm looking for. Like I'm obviously going to explain it in my post. I'm looking for a real estate cold caller that will bring in motivated land leads. You're just lead capturing. You're going to call from 9 to 5. I'm going to pay $4 an hour. And I need you to show up to this Zoom meeting if you want the job. And I drop a Zoom link. And I post that job app. Let's say the Zoom link is 24 hours from now. I'm going to get 85 hits on that job app. I'm going to have 30 virtual assistants show up to that meeting. It's a very simple meeting, very straightforward meeting. I have them all show up. I say, hey guys, you guys saw the job app. Here's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm hiring, depends how many you're hiring. Could be 1, could be 5. And I'm going to reach out to you after this. I want you guys to introduce yourself one by one. Tell me what you've done in the past. And then I obviously just want to clear this up right now. If you guys are not okay with my $4 an hour or the times that I have to work, respectfully, like I would just leave this call right now. Or you want to work another job. Or you want to work another job and not just solely work for us. Just leave this call right now because it's not going to be a good fit. No harm done. If you want to come back in the future, all good. You'll have 5 leave the call because they're not okay with it. They wanted 6 an hour or whatever it is. 25 left. They introduce themselves. They tell you what they did in the past. From that small introduction, you're going to get a gauge because this is the most important thing with a cold caller, that they are friendly and that they speak good English. That's pretty much the only qualifications that you need as a virtual assistant, and that they're going to show up for work.
The one thing too with this that I think we didn't really understand in the beginning that we've learned is if you don't have a job in the United States, right? It's like, okay, why did you get fired, right? What happened? Why did you get laid off? These agents are kind of at the discretion of a wholesale company. So there are very talented agents that have 8-10 years in experience that just because the wholesaler is not good at wholesaling, they got fired. So we look for experience and you can really find good talent. Pretty much, we've never had trouble finding actual true talent. And if someone can cold call at a high level to wholesale houses, I can promise you they can do it for land because it's
not a complex job, guys. It's just lead collecting and collecting all that information that we're talking about. If they're motivated in selling, the asking price, the motivation to sell, if there's any additional notes, and then thank you, my investor's going to call you back. And again, you just want them to be friendly so they don't piss anybody off and you don't lose any leads you could have made a deal on. And you want to make sure they'll show up for work and be hardworking. You can pretty much gauge that on a 20 to 30 minute phone call, Zoom call, excuse me. And then after that, you're going to pick your 1, 2, 3 virtual assistants that you want. As soon as you win that call, get everybody's WhatsApp that was on the call so you can reach out to them, make them drop it in the chat, and then you're going to WhatsApp whatever virtual assistant you want to onboard and immediately get on another Zoom meeting, give them the script, give them the web form, give them their login to the dialer, and you're good to go and start. And then the thing you want to do for the first week when training them, this is where people will mess up, is sometimes these virtual assistants like to go off script. They just do. Like you tell them, I want you to stick to the script. Go listen the first week. I promise you, they might not be doing the script. For some reason, they think that whatever they say is going to be better. You have the most experience in this. You have the most knowledge. Like, tell them to stick to the script. It's going to help you get more leads. So listen to the calls. You want to make sure that obviously she's being kind, like when you met her the first time, and that she's sticking to the script and lead capturing correctly.
And it's easy to gauge based on your leads.
And then the thing you want to do with them too is set up a meeting, a follow-up meeting, probably every single day for that first week. Bring a couple calls that you've listened to in the dialer and say, here's exactly what I liked. Here's exactly what I didn't like. And these virtual assistants learn very quickly. If you say, hey, don't say this on the phone again. Hey, do more of this and follow the script perfectly. Your virtual assistant is going to be perfectly trained in a week and you're never going to have to manage
That's what's crazy is like we've had them set up and after a week, maybe we listen to 1 call a month after that. We've had them running for 3-4 years. We haven't touched it. The only thing you need is you need to put in 10,000 leads a month is what you like to put in per agent?
Yes. So this is where a lot of people go wrong is when you're setting up a campaign for an agent, you want to make sure you have at least 5,000 leads for that agent. The more leads, the better because a list is going to get ran through in a couple of weeks. Contrary to what I was saying about texting a list multiple times, a list that you start out today of 5,000 leads and is bringing in 8-9 leads per day is going to get ran through and it's slowly going to be bringing in less and less leads. I don't know why. I've talked to the dialers about it for years. That's just how it works. As it's dialed through more times, the health gets lower and you need to upload more lists, re-upload the lists, and continue adding more. You need to have minimum 5,000 to 10,000 leads for each VA in each campaign that you have, or else your results are going to slack. In addition to that, when you're setting up a campaign, you need at least 50 phone numbers per agent to dial through. Because like I mentioned, they're making 3,000 dials per day. You can only make 100 dials per phone number per day when you're using a dialer like that. So when people are saying, I got 0 leads today, or I got 1 lead, how many phone numbers do you have set in your campaign? 2, because you thought that'd be enough? Well, guess what? After 200 dials, 4 connects for the day. They can't make any more dials because the dialer won't let them because you didn't give them enough phone numbers. No wonder you have 0 leads every single day. You know what I mean? So you need to make sure minimum 5, probably 10,000 leads in your campaign, at least 50 phone numbers that are being call monitored. Batch dialer, you can set it up to call monitor automatically for you, meaning if they come up as spam, they're auto replaced so they're not coming up as spam. If not, there's a couple websites you can use, firstorion.com, firstorion.com or freecallerregistry.com. These websites, you want to make sure once a week, and you guys can slow this down or go back, I just want to get all the game out there. Go on these websites once a week, upload your Excel list of all your phone numbers to verify them and say what you're doing with your company so that your phone numbers are not coming up as spam because that's going to hurt your results as well. So you need those 50 phone numbers. You need at least 5,000 to 10,000 leads. And then when you upload your list, just make sure you match your filters properly. So address in the right address column, city, state, zip in the right columns, phone number in the right columns. That's very important. And then the way the leads are going to come in is you get your web form from your CRM. So whatever you're using, whether you're using X Leads, whether you're using Land Atlas, whatever you're using for your CRM, you give your VA the web form. That's where they click submit of the data, and then it pops into your CRM to dial through. So I'm not sure if there's anything to add or if you got questions.
First and foremost, 5,000 numbers. Where are we talking here? Contact 1, 2, 3. I'm curious how you do it.
The way I do it is, so it depends where you're pulling your data from because it's going to be in different filters. But like, for example, when we pulled it from the most sources, it goes phone, mobile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Phone, landline 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So typically what I've seen is you're going to have the most amount of phone numbers on mobile 1, 2, 3, landline 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5 is pretty much nothing. It's relatives. There's 0 in a lot of the columns. You don't need it. So I do 6 phone numbers. I do mobile 1, 2, 3 as the first, and then I do landline 1, 2, 3 as 4, 5, and 6. Those are the 6 phone numbers I upload.
I like, because you have a LAN list. Okay, that makes sense. I always do contact 1. Because the way X-Leads works is contact 1's the best if it's a mobile. So we just kind of run contact 1. What I found with cold callers is once you start going to 2, 3, 4, and 5, just the leads per hour just tank. So I do contact 1 and I'd rather do more. In my opinion, if you have, let's say, Cape Coral and Lehigh Acres, would you rather have Lehigh Acres 2 numbers for every lead in Lehigh Acres, or do contact 1 Lehigh Acres, contact 1 Cape Coral? I'd rather do contact 1. What's interesting is you got 50. I always, for every 1,000 calls per day, it's like for every 100 calls, I like to have 1 number per day. So you have a better ratio than me on there, because I would have like 30 on that. So I like that.
Yeah, they taught me to always do 50 is what they taught me.
I do voice integrity plus registering too. But the most important part that we haven't talked about, and this is why the course has to be re-uploaded, and this is why next year we probably have to redo this again. How are you instructing your team when it's the iPhone answering spot now?
That's a good question.
So I'll tell you what I do. So I instruct my VAs when it's that, please state your reason why you were calling. Jackson, this is really important, please pick up. Beep. It shows it. Jackson, this is very important, please pick up. Ugh. Hello? I'm telling you, 90% of your VA cold callers do not know what to do here. They just hang up, okay, but guess what? These are iPhones. Most people have an iPhone that own real estate. So yes, most people have Androids, but if you look at the most people that own real estate, they have iPhones.
I will say, I also I've seen so much content and stuff this new law is going to ruin cold callers. You can't do cold callers anymore. 80% of our cold call deals are landlines.
Really?
So that
I have a lot of mobiles.
Because this is which I think we used to prioritize the landlines first or something, because a lot of these older folks, which have owned it for a long time, have no use for it now. They don't have, which may be more and more getting mobile phones, but a lot and you know it because you'll call them and it'll just ring forever, right? But those are the biggest deals have been.
I've been sitting on the phone leaving a voicemail for a minute and a half, and then they finally pick up. It's just the hottest lead of all time.
But I mean,
And then on cold callers, I'm trying to think of.
I will tell you this with VAs for me though. My VAs are my family. I will tell you this. I love them to death. I'll tell you this though, and this is pretty bad. I have VAs I have for years and years and years. I love them to death. I've always found virtual assistants, if they are a young male without any family, it usually doesn't work out well, especially ambitious people. For example, one of my best VAs, she's a woman, she has no kids, but she takes care of her elderly mom, and she has a dog.
Our best VA has a dog.
Loves her dog to death, which I love dogs too. I mean, but I know this sounds so stupid, but they have to have something, like we talk about mindset, greater than themselves why they're doing it. If you have an ambitious person that wants to go job to job, you don't deal with it. I love people with kids. They are always the best VAs for me.
Also, give them incentives. And again, this isn't crazy. For an example, don't pay them per lead. You can give them if you generate 200 leads this month, I'm going to pay you. I don't like that because they're going to put in things that shouldn't be leads to bump up their numbers. I like paying per deal. Right? So whenever you have a deal that closes, we'll give you, if you close 3 deals for us in a month, we'll give you a $100 bonus, which goes a very long way out there. That's 25 hours of work, right? So that small number for you, which 3 deals, that's probably 30 grand, right? You give them a $100 bonus, a $200 bonus. Do that, but also the one thing I will say, or a couple things, is first, treat them like people, right? I can't tell you how many people are so mean to their agents and get this superiority complex. It actually really frustrates me. I don't understand why they do it, and it happens often. Second thing is, don't let your VA take advantage of you, right? I can't tell you how often, oh boss, I need to make this payment. Please pay me early. Give me a 3-week advance. And you have to be very strict, right?
I'll tell you there's a hurricane there every 3 days.
An earthquake.
You have to stick to it. If you're paying them $4 an hour, yes, cool. If they have bonuses and they hit that, give them the bonus. But if they try to bump the price, if they want to get paid early, if they want to get paid in advance, that's just not how it works. And lay those ground rules on that initial Zoom call with them.
Yeah, because they will try to take everything they can get.
My system is always, that's actually funny, 4 is interesting. I always keep a 4. 4 is always the base for me. And then
we've gone up to 4.5.
They always say, well, Jerome is at $7 an hour. Yes, Jerome's been here for 2 years, and he keeps getting 50-cent pay increases because he brings in deals.
Yeah.
And so the base is 4. You do not get anything, and then once you give me a deal, you're at 450.
Yeah.
Once you give me another deal, you're at 5.
Yeah.
I got VAs. I got cold callers at $11 an hour because every single deal that they send in, I will always give them a little bump.
Yep.
And I got the most loyal cold callers ever because of that.
Yeah. That's the thing is they're very, very loyal out there. Like we've had multiple now with us 4 or 5 years, or not 5, 4.5 years.
4.5, yeah.
And they obviously get better as they do it. So that's going to be marketing, I would say.
This is for a lot of beginners out here. It's funny that we all kind of, majority of our deals come from these things, but if you really want the best ROI, this is what I recommend. Let's say you have a list of, let's call a list of 15,000 land leads, right? Land leads, whatever. What I would recommend you do, first thing you do is I want you to text that list. You're going to get a 20% response rate, all right? So I knew some math here, but 0.8 of 15 would be...
Yeah, 3,000? Oh, you're saying the people that didn't answer, 12?
Yeah, so that means now you have 12,000 left. So now we have already confirmation that 3,000 people do not want an offer. They texted back, screw you. Cool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to call this list. Get probably about 20% response rate on that. You multiply that by 0.8. Now you only have to send mail to 9,600 people. And a lot of people want to send I'll tell you with the ROI, sending the list here, remember, these people already replied. You already got an answer with them. You already got an answer from the texting.
Yeah.
You are not losing any more money, and you are saving 6,000, call it 80 cents. Not trying to be a cheap guy, but you're saving $4,000 by doing
Don't even
this
think
system.
of it as I just saved $4,000. It's now I can send $4,000 more in mail, right? To more, like, you know what I mean? Like, and this is kind of how the business scales.
So this is called the triple tap system.
Yeah.
This works really good,
Oh,
guys.
I love it, yeah.
I'm telling you, if you want to, I have found, you talk about diminishing returns, I found no diminishing returns from this with your mail.
Yeah, and you guys want to know, like, probably the biggest game you'll hear from mail is, because obviously the offer letters are going to be the best.
Yeah.
You make a full, which we have in our program, of course, but you make a 10, 15-page SOP comping module. You get an agent for $4 an hour. That's not on a dialer, so it's $600 a month. This agent is just trained and professional in comping what to offer people. You give them a list of 2,000 dialed in, expensive-ish properties across a whole statewide list, have them put in perfect offers for all 2,000, and then send your mail, right?
In 2018, I went to the largest mail house in the real estate space. I told them that I want to do an offer postcard, and they said I was an idiot. I was stupid. It's the dumbest idea in the world.
Yeah.
Now everyone does it.
I like the
It's just
contracts a
hilarious.
lot. The contracts is really, really good.
No, it's really interesting how you do it.
Because our contract is 1 page, right? So like we'll just literally mail our contract and it autofills their address, the offer, everything. And I can't tell you how often we just get them signed and mailed back to us, or signed and they send us a picture. No, I think we're all good. And then we'll go what? Sales
on
to
marketing. You wanna go
conversion?
Acquisitions. There's no sales, bro.
Acquisitions, yeah.
We ain't selling nothing.
Yeah.
You sell yourself.
Yeah.
And if anyone's watching this says, oh, I don't like sales, or guys, life is a sale.
Yeah.
If you're going on a date, you're selling yourself. Everything is sales. If you want to work at the government, you have to have your boss, you have to sell yourself that you shouldn't get fired or laid off. Everything in life is sales.
Yeah.
Don't get that twisted. And if you have a fear, anybody watching this, if you have a fear of talking to somebody on the phone, just understand that person has your money. That's the way I always look at it. That person has your money. Either you get the money from them, or Carson or Jackson are going to get a deal.
Right. So again, back to what he said, like this is not much sales, right? Because if you guys kind of have been watching this, right? Like if you're not just skipping to this point, you understand, right? We're giving all these offers, or we know what these people want based on our marketing, right? So based on our marketing, whether the cold caller, they put in the price for the seller. If it's mail, we gave them our price.
So let's lump in right now whether it came from SMS, direct mail, or cold call. It's just all in one right now. We're just going to call it a lead, right? We're going to call it a
My
lead.
definition of acquisitions, my definition of marketing is converting a list into somebody that wants to sell.
Right.
Acquisitions is converting I want to sell into a contract.
Right.
That's my definition.
So a lead wants a reasonable price, or they want to hear an offer. That's the first thing, right? So just because they answer your text, but they want $100,000, it's
So
worth 20,
let's
that's
say
not a lead.
I want 40K as our lead right here, right?
So you're going to go through all your leads from the cold caller, all of the responses from your text and all your callbacks from the mail, and you're gonna have people, again, if they want 100 grand and you're gonna sell it for 50, that's not a lead, right? I usually I don't even give my offer a lot of times. If it's texting, I'll shoot them a text back, but I never call that person. All you wanna do is you wanna look for the person where you can make money on the deal. So if they're at or beneath the price your builder will pay, I call them. That's it, right? If it's even $5,000 higher, I don't even do it.
So let's say builder, this is in the back of our head.
So the builder will pay 50.
Jeez. There we go.
Yeah. So the builder will pay 50K. So what we're gonna do with this is, again, someone wants $40,000, you call them, you introduce yourself, maybe you come in at 39.5, right? Because
So lead to offer, right? And let's say our buy box is 40, so we have to negotiate right here. Let's say our buyer's actually at 40, not 50.
Right.
Okay. So now our offer, what are we gonna offer here?
Cool. So if our builder's at 40, our lead wants 40, right? So I'm just gonna come in, I'm gonna call, hey, my name's Jackson. I see you talked to Wendy earlier. You looking for $40,000. We purchased a lot of land in your area. I was curious where you kind of came up with that number.
Yeah, I've just been looking around the area and it looks like stuff's kind of selling around 40,000. I see some listings a little higher at 42, 43. So I'd be happy if I got 40 for it. I've owned it for 20 years and I have no intention to build.
Yeah, so like if you listed on the market, you'd be happy with $40,000?
Yeah, 40 is what I want.
Awesome. Yeah. So like if you listed it on the market, you sold for 40, you're going to pay your agents about 8% on a land deal, and then you're going to have like $1,200 in closing costs. So with that $40,000 sale, you're going to walk with like $34,000, $35,000. Could take anywhere from 4 to 6 months. So what we do is we actually help you avoid all those fees, right? So you're not going to pay any realtors, you're not going to pay any closing costs. We cover all that for you. All the attorney costs are going to be on us. So we can come in with an offer of $36,000 plus all closing costs, and I can get this closed for you in 3 weeks.
Yeah, but the realtor told me she could get me 40,000.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure she could, but you're actually going to get less money than I'm offering you because do you care about what it says on Zillow or do you care about what you walk away with?
No, I care about what I walk away with.
Right, because is the agent going to do the work for free?
No,
Nope.
I mean, they have a commission, right?
Right, so the agent commission, they're going to have two sides of that commission, then you're going to have the closing costs, right? So even a $40,000 sale, which may be true, you're only going to walk with $34,000, $35,000, and this could take a year.
Well, what would the closing process look like? How long would that take?
No, the closing is going to be easy, so it's going to be 3 weeks. So basically how this will work is pending we come to an agreement here, I hope we do, I can get you a contract over within 30, 45 seconds, right? Once you sign that contract, again, no rush at all, maybe you take your time on it, but as soon as you sign that contract, we get working on this deal, right? So our team will go out, they're going to go ahead, do our surveys, we're going to make sure everything's clean, there's nothing, which happens very seldom, but sometimes there's a protected owl on the property, right? We're just going to make sure everything's clean. Once that comes in, we get everything over to the title company, and what I'm going to tell them is close this property as quickly as possible, right? So nothing that you have to worry about. All you have to worry about is the title company is going to reach out to you. They're going to say, hey, we're going to do this remote online notary. It's basically just you getting on a Zoom call to sign a piece of paper. But keep in mind, you won't sign anything until all of the money has been deposited to the title company, right? So you sign the documents, the escrow company holds the money. As soon as you sign, you get paid the $36,000, and then the lot's transferred.
That makes sense, but I mean, I'm into it for 37.5, so I got to get 38 to walk, net, everything. I need 38.
Let me put you on hold for 90 seconds here. Let me go talk to my partner. I'll give you my best offer, right? So that's a huge thing. Never live negotiate, right? I don't know, like, just don't live negotiate with people. If they come back, like, always mute them. Give me 90 seconds, right? Don't hang up. I need to go run to my partner's office. Hey, Carson, can we do 37? Whatever. Unmute them. We can't get to 38 on this. I really, really don't even, I'm shocked I can get over 36 on this. If I can do 37,250, can you go ahead and move forward?
I mean, I'll be breaking even on it, but if you can meet me in the middle at 37.5, we can get it done.
Cool, let's do it, right? What's your email, right? As I'm getting their email or text message, right? How do you want me to send the contract over? Do you want me to text it or email it?
Oh, email.
Email, awesome. What's your email, right? Also, like, I was curious, why are you looking to sell? Like, what was the intention initially when you purchased the property, right? So like after they say their email, you small talk them as you're typing the contract. So you don't want them to get off the phone before they sign.
Dude, I came up with the same thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing. So when you give the offer, this is how I always do it. Not interrupt you, but like, hey, that's great. I'm going to send you over the agreement. Let me know when you see it. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be right here.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like you didn't say it, but like this is how it truthfully is. Okay, Jackson's kind of annoying me. Like, I want to go back to my show.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll sign it. Because if you don't give any urgency, it's
Yeah.
And the worst part is inspection period, scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever dealt with it, but like
Yeah, so this is how we do it is I just want to pull it up together because I know there's a lot of things that happens with the change of title and stuff. So I just want to make sure everything's spelled right with your name and everything. So let's go ahead and get this pulled up together. It's a super simple one-page agreement, right? So you see the first line, right? It says June 27th. Is that the correct date, right? It looks good. Awesome. All right. So then it's going to say my company. That's going to be JW Light Homes, right? Looks good. Next will be your name, right? Is this Maria? Is this how you spell your name? Awesome. Okay, cool. Next it says to be paid in full, right? $37,500, right? That perfect. Looks good to you. Awesome. So the next is just going to be kind of to protect us. We have to put this on there, right? Like, God forbid there's a title issue or something pops up and we can't close on this lot. We do need to protect ourselves. I do want to let you know that we have absolutely no intentions of this, right? And I'll let you know as soon as our surveys are completed and clean. Give me about a week for that, right? So that's why I want to get this moving as quickly as possible.
Some good advice to get the best terms possible, because terms are everything when you're getting these contracts signed, is you want to be as honest as possible while trying to keep yourself as vague as possible. So like, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver to you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put 60 days on the contract, but I'm gonna try my absolute best to get this closed within 3 to 4 weeks. Typically, our transactions do get closed in 3 to 4 weeks, but I'm gonna put 60 days to be safe. I'd rather put 60 and get it closed in 22 than to put 22 and get it closed in 60 and you be mad at me.
Right.
So just try to be as vague as possible while not lying and being honest, and you're gonna get so much better terms.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then basically, like, we just walk through line by line on the contract, basically everything that's filled in. Awesome. Does everything look good to you? Do you have any questions or anything? Awesome. Well, if you go ahead, click sign right there, adopt a signature, and click finish, we can actually start on our surveys today, right? And then sometimes I need to think about it, whatever. So this is the best way, not even close. I figured out how to almost push people to sign without being pushy, right? Because everyone follow up every single day, whatever, is I'll say, okay, well, typically which is true, right? Like, we definitely have survey guys that go out on every day of the week, and they say, all right, because let's say it's Friday, right? So I'll say, awesome. Well, typically our which Friday is tough, but like, yeah, no, it's fine. Typically our environmental guy is going to go out to the property on Saturdays, right? So if you actually get this signed today, we can actually get our survey started tomorrow, right? Otherwise, if you wait even till Monday, right, it's going to take till the next Saturday. So I'm just trying to get this done and get you your cash as quick as possible. It actually will probably get pushed up a week if you're able to sign this contract today, right? So that's kind of how we've done it versus just like calling them when you're going to sign.
Let's say that gets signed. Boom.
Something huge about contracts, and I've also never seen anyone do this. So every time we send a contract, we have a welcome to, so our company's JW Light Homes. It's called Welcome to JW Light Homes. It's a 7-page PDF. It gives an introduction to our company, the exact process on how to sign the contract, what the title process looks like, how long till they get paid, surveys, whatever, and introduction to our company with headshots of all of our team, descriptions. The next one will be testimonials, and then thank you with contact information. So again, these sellers are signing away a property without ever meeting you. This literally doubled how many contracts would actually get signed versus sent, because no one does this, right? Like, everyone's just like texting them, send a contract. We send this PDF every time we send a contract, and it has doubled how many contracts have gotten signed.
I like that. Another advantage, if you're in your local market, the best thing you could possibly do is meet them at the property.
Yeah.
And this is kind of unfair to you, but it's like, well, I know you're talking to this Carson. Can Carson just meet you at the house?
Yeah.
No? I know that sounds stupid, but like, if you have your advantage, like when you're broke, you have advantages. When you're rich, you have advantages. Go use the advantage that you currently have.
Right.
The only thing that I would say is a little different, the only thing that's different here is I never use the word contract. I use just
purchase agreement. Purchase
Yeah.
agreement.
I use agreement, and then for signature, I always say, just get your little John Hancock over here. Or your autograph. I don't say signature or contract.
We say agreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most people get a little worried about
and
that.
actually, our contract says purchase of sale agreement at the top. It doesn't say
Purchase
contract.
and sale agreement. It's just, I know it sounds stupid, but like, it's scary. Now, in the PDF that we're providing, we should have the agreement. I'll have my agreement in there.
Yeah, I can throw ours in too. It's one page.
Yeah. Throw that in there. But yeah, that's literally, and the only other thing I do is, you kind of had it in your PDF. I always let them know what the steps are going for. So what's going to happen is, my partner's going to go out. They're going to look at the house, just make sure.
So big thing about that is we always do that, but I've seen so many acquisition managers mess this up. Is do not oversell. So if someone agrees, get them to sign and then tell them that. Yes, but how many? Like, you probably see it often too. Like, is someone will get, all right, I can do it. Get you 37.5. Yeah. Yes, I can do it. Awesome. Well, after I send you the contract right now, then we're going to do this title work in the inspection period. And like,
you get them all these thoughts in their head that they didn't have before.
The second they say yes, you send the contract and you shut up until that's signed. Then you can tell them whatever the hell you want. But until that is signed, do not oversell, right?
And you do not, I like to make it super simple. Like, you guys talk about surveys, I just say, my partner's gonna go out there, just make sure he's good to go. As long as there's no crazy burrowing toward us,
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
good to go.
Which doesn't happen often.
So, but I don't say survey because you never know.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I always say is during, like, I like Florida a lot. So between August and like November, I say, hey, the reason why our agreement's a little longer is just in case there's a hurricane, we like to extend it.
Right.
That always works really well, but it's worse. Dude,
Yeah. And again, guys, don't lie on anything, right? So most of these builders will be doing a survey. You ask them this beforehand, and you tell them, hey, my partner, my investor, whatever it may be. Couple things to just note here. If they say, why does it say assignment here, right? So honestly, the best success we've ever seen is being brutally honest, right? Is I'm going to be very transparent with you. Is I'm going to flip this to a home builder, right? But the thing is I'm going to spend, or I've already spent the time. I already have someone lined up. I spend 5-6 hours a day calling every single investor, every single builder in your market. So you don't have to, right? So yeah, maybe you can get an extra $3,000 if you spend the next 30 days cold calling every single realtor, every investor, and every builder, right? And if you don't want to do that, this is what I do for a living. I'm going to get you a great deal. We're going to make a little bit in between, and you're going to get the best.
And then
price
also
possible.
another thing that you can word with that, which we've seen success with and everybody's cool with it, is you say it says assignable on that contract because, you know, we do work with a bunch of builders throughout this area. Like I told you, we don't just work with one. I'm trying to get you the best price here. We work with 15, 20 different builders. So occasionally we will transfer it over to a new LLC upon the closing, which isn't going to change anything for you. You're still going to get $30,000, John, like we talked about, but we're just going to assign it out from, you know, AMC builders to JLM builders. So it's not going to change anything on your end. You're still getting your 30 grand. There's no difference there.
Right.
And they're always cool with it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, now it's time for the easiest part, which is the dispo side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, the way I look at this, and we didn't even really talk about negotiating.
So we'll
Yeah.
go dispo here.
But if the buy box is at 40K, what is there to negotiate about?
Yeah.
I get people tell me all the time, the MAO's 40 and they want to take 35. What should I? Do you want $5 or do you like? It's so simple.
Keep in mind though, don't get low. I see especially beginners. They get lowballed by these builders. So when you get a contract signed, first thing to do is you look it up on Zillow. And we didn't talk about comping much because we have the builder first,
I
but
mean, why would he comp if
Yeah.
the buy
Yeah.
box is there?
Yeah.
because
We
a
got
lot
a little more
no, but
advanced.
builders will say like, because this frustrates me more than anything, is the builder will say, all right, cool, in Cape Coral I'll pay up to 70 grand, right? So then they think, even though the lot for sale next door is listed at 41, they think a builder's going to pay 70, right? So the builder's prices will vary, right? So every builder, every realtor, every investor, I promise you, knows what Zillow is. So if you see, we only comp on listings, I don't care about sold properties. And you go on Zillow, you go for sale lots and land, look at the identical lots, sort it low to high, you need to be 3 to 5 grand lower than the lowest listing, no matter what, always, unless there's something wrong with the
comparable.
property, right? So keep that in mind when you're making your offers. Then, so you get the contract signed at 37.5. Let's say I have a builder at 40, but when I look it up on Zillow, the lowest comparable listing is 52.5, right? So I actually probably am not going to sell it to this builder immediately. Big thing with Dispo, only send it to one builder at a time.
This is huge.
If you burn bridges, these builders will never answer you again.
If you have 5 buyers, never get a property and send it to 5 at once. That's the first
These
way
blast texting
to
with
lose
land is the
all
biggest
credibility,
joke
to never
ever.
do deals with
Yeah.
a big builder ever again.
And by the way, if you just send a buyer's list,
Yes.
if you throw
Yeah.
your deal on Facebook,
It's done. No one will
someone's
touch
going
it.
to steal your deal.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. And the most important part, which you're adding, 2 things. Builders are not stupid. They build 10, 20 million bucks at a time.
Yep.
They are not going to overpay for your deal or
Yep.
just, I think they're just going to be
Yeah.
dumb. They're going to pay me extra
Yeah.
40 grand.
Yeah.
They're really smart. They have that money.
Yep.
And number 2, do not be the boy that cried wolf. If you have a bad deal and you send it to them enough times, they're just going to burn the bridge with you.
Yeah, 100%.
And so when you talk about burning bridges, it's also sending bad deals.
Yes.
Yep.
So make sure always, no matter what, your property is cheaper than they could pay on Zillow. Always, right? So anyways, now I have it. Let's say the lowest listing though is 52.5, right? So maybe I think I could get like 48 for this, right? Maybe I can make 10 grand instead of 2. So the first person I'm going to call, next door neighbors, right? Offer to them even 50, right? They say no, right? Next is I'm going to go look at the sold lots
Yeah,
and
so you
land
could go-
last 90 days, highest. Now you're going to sort by highest, right? And you'll see people paying 60, 50, whatever. Call them all, offer to them at 50, one at a time. Again, you need an answer. You need them to say no before you move on to the next one. Don't wait a month for them to respond. Tell them on the phone, hey, listen, when can you give me an answer by? They might say 6 hours, right? Or I'll give you an answer by the end of the day. Awesome, I am going to follow up, but if you don't give me an answer by the end of the day, I'm going to send this to someone else. Right now, it's exclusive to you, right? Because you said you're interested. Maybe you get through those, right? Then maybe you give it to your buyer, right? But another couple ways that like we've seen to sell deals, novations is a big one, where you just go ahead and flat fee list it, whatever that may be,
depending on another topic, but
yeah, different.
I'm not an innovation guy.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go through everything right now. Construction lending companies, right? Especially the luxury stuff, they only get paid when they fund a deal. They know every builder, right? You can call a construction loan company. Title companies have buyers.
I'll add one thing on here too.
Environmental companies.
If you have a software, MEXLease does it,
Yep.
look for mobile home landlords.
Yeah.
If you have a nice little quarter-acre lot, they love buying the land and throwing a mobile home on
Right.
there if they own mobile homes in the area.
Right.
You gotta remember with landlords, they will always pay a premium. Like for any of my rentals, I have a couple streets where I own a lot of property. Just to be on a street where I already own houses, I will pay a premium just because they're so close to each other.
Right.
And so mobile homes, look up people that own a lot of mobile home properties, individual ones. They will pay a lot. This is a lot of Louisiana type stuff, but
I will say, guys, so many people worry about this. This was the easiest part. If you, again,
dude.
the lowest listing is 52 and you have it at 37.5, you can quite literally sell it to 10 people. Like, there's no issues on
it's
selling.
the Rolls Royce thing,
Yeah.
right? If you could sell a $200,000 Rolls Royce for 180, there's out the door people will pay for that.
Right.
So if you have a contract for 150, getting the deal is the hard part.
Right.
But also, I'd tell you, find the buyer first. But man, it's like, I wish I'd go out here and talk about this for like 4 more hours, but it's like, and I want to talk about this part too. Are we done with this, bro?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good on that.
I want to talk about, I think the most important part is,
Move this one.
I'll just erase it, but like, what are you going to do? What's the action plan? Like, what's the difference between people that actually become successful versus not?
Yep.
I think it's pretty obvious because pick up some of your trophies over there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I can, I think there's a couple reasons for this, but like we have again 9 trophies we're giving out tomorrow. Like this one's for Grayson for hitting $1 million. He's actually done over 2 now. He's 21. But like there's a couple things. The biggest thing is our actual community itself, right? So Grayson alone does over 20 JV deals a month in certain markets where he has a ton of buyers, right? Because he's now a coach in our community. So he'll just say, hey guys, I need lots here, here, here. And so the new people that join have a done for you buyer. He's going to do the title work. He'll take care of it all, right? So we have a couple hundred students now actively doing deals. So the biggest thing is going to be the network itself, right? Because you get to partner with everybody, you get to do all that stuff, but also like having some sort of, which I think is the biggest thing for a lot of people, is getting some sort of like buy-in, right? Like I see a lot of people take different action, and I'll give you an example of this. Again, we have a couple hundred successful students in our paid course. In our free course, I think we have 18,000 students, and I think we have 9 testimonials.
Yeah, over
right?
18,000
And
students,
7 of the 9 are in our paid courses as well. You know what I mean? So it's like people just don't do anything unless they have some sort of buy-in, some sort of. Which is
the crazy part is that all the same people, like any of these hundreds of people, are like the people that have over $1 million in assignments, like Nick or like Grayson or any of these people, they all had access to the same exact information. So why is it that some people have made millions of dollars from it and some people haven't? Well, I'll tell you why. Either A, they never started, B, they didn't send the texts out and reach out to people and make calls, or people don't even watch and learn the information to apply or show up to coaching calls or even put the effort out. That's the only difference between someone that's successful and not
I'd
successful.
say
Jonathan's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
He literally found my dad at a Publix and said, you changed my life. I'm making over $1 million a year at the time, wholesaling land.
Yeah.
Just from the info, Zach, you taught me on YouTube.
Right.
He's watching videos that have 20,000 views, but guess what? You know what? I'm just going to do what these guys say.
Well, it's pretty crazy. So we had Adrian. Adrian, he DM'd Carson actually, and he said, guys, I was actually, and then he later joined it. I've been watching your free content, and I did my first deal.
And I get DMs like this every single day. He said, I just closed a 6-figure deal. And normally it's BS. People DM me that every day. Yeah. And I said, send me the wire. And he sends me a screenshot. It closed this morning, $110,000 assignment. His first land deal closed in 30 days in Orlando, Florida. Got it for $1 million, sold it for $1.1 million, $110,000 on his first land deal just from watching the free content on Instagram.
I will tell you this, and I know this is kind of stupid, but I'm just going to have a number 1,000. If you can make 1,000 calls,
Yeah.
I promise you, I'm almost giving people permission at this point. You could quit wholesaling if you just give me 1,000 calls and you don't get any leads, any deals, or anything from a skip trace list on the dialer. You just can't get one deal. I will give you permission to quit. But here's what's going to happen. If you do 1,000 calls with the correct script at whatever we teach, for land specifically, you are going to get a lead if it's individually by yourself.
Right.
And if you add 1,000 text messages, And I'm telling you this, Andy put 1,000 letters.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know a soul right now in land or wholesaling just houses that have done 1,000 pieces of direct mail, 1,000 texts, and 1,000 calls that hasn't gotten at least one deal.
Right.
And also, just by putting yourself out there with this, guys, if you're not doing any of this, you have a 0% chance of being successful because you're not reaching out to anybody. You start doing this channel, okay, now you have 1 time to be successful. You start doing both, now you have 2 times the amount chance to be successful. You start doing this as well, now you have 3 times the amount of chance to be successful. Add in JVs, add a community. I mean, you have 400 or 500% better of a chance to be successful. And that's why there's probably hundreds of thousands of people that want to wholesale real estate, that want to wholesale land, that aren't doing it at a high level. I mean, we know a lot of the people that are doing it at a high level, and I know why that's happened.
I mean, on my YouTube channel, I mean, I probably have 10 interviews with people making over $1 million a year wholesaling land.
Yeah.
If you just, everyone's, oh, that's great, they're making that. What did you do to do it?
Right.
I did this, this, and this. Okay, cool. Well, Jackson, what did you do? Oh, you make that many calls. Okay, ew. What did you do?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you did many. Oh.
And it's like what's
They all do the same things.
It's not complex.
Whatever they do, if you just do it, it works.
Another big thing that I say all the
Tried and
time is
true.
everyone's like, oh, you guys work so hard. You work so hard. I'm not kidding. I never call it working when we're doing this because, like, for an example, the people that brought in and are setting up tables all day, heavy tables, they're working. The people that are building roofs in the Phoenix heat right now, they are working. We just try to make money. It's like we get to touch a few buttons on our phone, make cold calls, and make 7 figures a year. Like, that does not work. It's trying to make money, right? So, like, there have been days when Carson and I have had quite literally 24 hours of computer screen time where we haven't moved, right? Like, we're trying to make money though. We're not working, you know? And what's the difference if you're scrolling on TikTok or if you're typing in numbers, right? Like, that's all you're doing here, right? So you guys are going to do it anyways. So you might as well actually.
And also,
give it a
you
shot.
might think it's boring, and everybody thinks it's a
Pretty
boring
fun.
business doing land. Like, it's actually really exciting. You're dealing with a lot of cool people. You're dealing with builders. You're making deals. You're making big spreads. Like, it's very exciting and thrilling when you know you have 25 grand on the line that you can close. Like, it's not a boring business, even though it's land. You're not ever out at the properties. You don't ever see the properties. It's not really land. You're just making deals.
One more thing, just free game for everybody, is back to acquisitions on the first one. There's a company called First Orion. So when you're making a lot of phone calls from your phone, like your number's going to go to spam. First Orion, it's relatively cheap for what you get for it. Like, instead of calling and it's saying my number or saying spam, it'll say your company name, right?
Yeah.
So like your answer rate goes up quite a bit when you're doing that. And it's cheap enough to where it makes sense.
There's another one called Hiya, Hiya.
Okay.
I mean, you do go to free call registry. It's with them too. But guys, this is it. This is how you start wholesaling land.
If you guys want to see how to join our paid program, there's a vetting system. Not everybody gets included in here anymore. It's a lot more one-on-one, a lot more intensive coaching so we can ensure success. But go to this website right here, and then you're going to see more on how to get in and get started, and make sure you're doing everything properly.
It'll be carsonandjackson.com. There will be a full video kind of explaining the business model a little bit more with like shared screens and stuff like that, and then you can book in an interview with our team. And again, it's only if it makes sense for you guys, right? Like, there are people that shouldn't join with paid stuff, right? There are some people that it makes sense to do paid stuff with, right? But it doesn't make sense for, we want to pour in everything we can as far as our mentorship goes. And I don't want to do a Zoom coaching call with 400 people on it, right? I want to do it with 11
and then
people.
One more thing too I'll mention too is if you're still sticking around and you're here 3 hours in, like, I hope you were taking notes and I hope you were taking that value, because this is probably 10x the value that a lot of paid programs have out here, and we just gave it all to you guys
Well,
for
let me
free.
ask you this: if we all had a webinar and we charged $1,000 for this course right now, we'd probably make $1 million.
And
Easily.
And do you
It's
guys
free.
think you got $1,000 worth of value from this call?
Right.
You know,
I mean,
put it in the comments if you think you got $1,000 worth of value from this call.
So guys, if you got any value from this video, smash that like button, subscribe. They got a site. Land Atlas is their software. Mine is X Leads. Guys, you can't go wrong. Certain thoughts?
That's it.
Think
You guys
that's
want to
it.
work with us?
Yeah.
carsonandjackson.com. Appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thanks,
We're out.
guys.
Thank you.